there is a tower that does not cast a shadow. At least, not in the way shadows are usually understood. When the sun passes behind it, the light does not break or vanish. It bends. It softens. It drifts through the tower's walls as water drifts through glass, scattering into pale rainbows that fall silently onto the land below. Those who have seen it from a distance say it looks less like a building and more like a held breath, an exhalation paused between worlds. The tower rises where maps grow uncertain, not at the center of anything, yet not at the edge either. It stands where the sky feels closer, where the air thins into quiet, and where the stars seem to listen as much as they shine. Its marble is translucent, veined with faint currents of light, as though the stone remembers every dawn and dusk it has ever witnessed. Within this tower lives an artisan. No one remembers when the artisan arrived, or whether arrival is even the right word. Some believe the tower grew around the work rather than the other way around. Others say the artisan has always been there, breathing with the building, shaping time as patiently as glass. The artisan's craft is not named in ordinary language. Words like glassblower or sculptor come close but fall short, for the artisan works with something more fragile than molten glass and more elusive than flame. The artisan works with stardust, not the kind spoken of in songs as metaphor, nor the kind imagined as simple glitter scattered across the void. This dust is real and rare. It forms when stars shed their smallest fragments, particles of spent light, quiet remnants of cosmic burning. These fragments drift for ages, cooling, dimming, until they fall slowly toward the worlds below, like snow that has forgotten cold. Most of this dust disappears before it can be seen, dissolving into atmosphere or sinking into oceans of dark, but some of it reaches the tower. Each night, as the sky deepens and the stars settle into their ancient patterns, the artisan ascends the spiral stairs to the highest chamber. The steps curve gently, as if reluctant to reach the top too quickly. The walls glow faintly, responding to the rising presence of night. At the summit, the ceiling opens, not with hinges or sound, but with a gradual yielding, as though the tower itself inhales. The chamber fills with starlight, and the sky leans close enough to be touched. Here the artisan waits. The waiting is an art of its own, stillness balanced with attention, breath aligned with the slow pulse of the heavens. The artisan does not reach for the falling dust. To do so would scatter it. Instead, the artisan listens to the faint tremor in the air, to the nearly inaudible whisper of descent. When the first particles arrive, they announce themselves not with light, but with weightlessness, a soft pressure against the senses, a cooling of thought. The artisan raises a vessel of clear glass, thinner than a sigh, and holds it open. Stardust drifts in. It gathers like a memory forming, like a dream choosing its shape. Each particle carries a history longer than any story spoken aloud. Births and endings of distant suns, the long patience of darkness. The artisan treats each grain with reverence, for even the smallest fragment once held fire enough to shape worlds. When the vessel is full, the ceiling slowly closes, the chamber dims, and the tower exhales. The work begins. At the center of the chamber stands the Star-Glass studio. It is not cluttered, not crowded with tools. Everything here has a purpose and a pause between uses. The furnace glows with a gentle, internal light, not fueled by wood or coal, but by captured warmth from the day's sun, stored within crystal matrices embedded in the floor. The artisan places the vessel near the furnace, allowing the stardust to warm, not melt, not burn, but awaken. Stardust does not behave like ordinary matter. It remembers being light. It resists being held. Warming it is less about heat and more about invitation. As the dust stirs, it begins to glow. Softly at first, a breath of silver, then deeper hues emerge, blues like distant nebulae, ambers like old suns, faint violets that flicker at the edge of vision. The light does not illuminate the room so much as reveal it, outlining surfaces with tenderness. The artisan selects a blowpipe. It is long and slender, forged from star-glass itself, transparent and faintly luminous. Its surface carries fine lines, records of previous works etched by heat and breath. The artisan presses one end into the awakened stardust, gathering a small portion. It clings willingly, drawn by recognition. Then comes the breath. The artisan breathes slowly, steadily, not forcing air but guiding it. The breath carries intention more than pressure. With each exhalation, the stardust expands, shaping itself around the breath's rhythm. It becomes a bubble of light, trembling alive. This is the most delicate moment. Too quick a breath, and the light fractures. Too hesitant, and it collapses inward. The artisan listens to the breath as much as controls it, adjusting with micro-movements learned over centuries of practice. The forming ornament spins gently, catching the chamber's glow. Its surface remains thin as a dream, yet strong enough to hold the night's balance. For these ornaments are not merely decorative. They are necessary. Long ago, before the tower, before even the artisan, something in the sky shifted. A subtle imbalance, unnoticed at first. Stars began to drift too close together in some regions, too far apart in others. Darkness pooled where light should have flowed. The night sky, once self-sustaining, began to strain. The ornaments were the answer. Each one, when released into the heavens, settles into a precise place. There, it reflects, refracts, and redistributes starlight, not brightening the sky unnaturally, not dimming it, but restoring its quiet harmony. They are anchors and lenses, pauses and breaths between stars. As the artisan shapes the ornament, fine tools are applied, rods of cool glass to draw out points, paddles to smooth curves, gentle taps to adjust symmetry. Each movement is slow, deliberate, as though time itself has thickened in the chamber. When the ornament reaches completion, it hovers at the end of the blowpipe, glowing steadily. It hums faintly, a resonance felt more in the chest than the ears. The artisan nods, not in satisfaction, but in acknowledgement. The ornament is placed into an annealing cradle, where it cools gradually, releasing excess energy back into the tower's veins. There it rests among others, hundreds, perhaps thousands, each unique, each holding a different quality of night. Some are small and simple, smooth orbs of pale light. Others are intricate, with spirals, filigree, and delicate protrusions like frozen flares. Together, they form a quiet constellation within the studio. The artisan moves among them with care. Outside the tower, the world sleeps. Forests sway gently beneath the influence of restored starlight. Oceans breathe in rhythm with the moon. Creatures that navigate by night feel subtle corrections in their paths, never knowing why the sky feels right again. And above it all, the stars continue to shed their dust. The artisan returns to the spiral stairs as dawn approaches, descending as the tower brightens. The ceiling seals itself fully, preserving the last traces of night within its walls. The studio dims, the furnace sleeps, and the ornaments rest. Another night has been held in balance. Another breath has been shaped into light, and the tower waits, silent, translucent, patient, for the sky to lean close once more. The night does not fall all at once. It arrives gradually, like a lowering of the voice, a dimming of edges, a soft agreement between sky and ground that it is time to listen more closely. As twilight deepens, the tower's marble walls absorb the last warmth of the day and begin to release a different kind of light, cooler, quieter, tinged with silver. This is the hour when the stars begin to speak, not in words and not in sound as sound is usually known. Their language is one of timing and distance, of gravity and patience. It is written in trajectories so vast they can only be felt, never fully seen. Most beings pass beneath this language without noticing it, just as one breathes air without naming its currents. But the artisan listens. Within the tower, the studio awakens again. Not abruptly, not with effort. It simply opens its attention. The tools hum softly, responding to shifts in the sky. The glass vessels shimmer faintly, as though anticipating what they will hold. Falling stars are rarely accidents. What appears to be a sudden streak of light is, more often than not, the final movement of a long intention. A star sheds its excess not out of decay, but out of balance, releasing what it no longer needs so that it may continue burning steadily. The dust that falls is a message, a relinquishment, a gift. Each falling star speaks a slightly different dialect. Some release dust gently in steady drifts that last for hours. Others shed it in brief, brilliant cascades, flashes that vanish almost as soon as they appear. The artisan has learned to recognize these patterns, to anticipate their arrival without calculation. There is a posture the artisan adopts when listening. The spine straightens, but not rigidly. The shoulders relax, the breath deepens, slowing until it matches something older than thought. This posture aligns the body with the tower and the tower with the sky. When alignment is achieved, the language becomes clearer. Tonight, the dust arrives early. It slips through the opening ceiling in fine threads, nearly invisible, like pale smoke illuminated by moonlight. The artisan lifts the receiving vessel, adjusting its angle to match the dust's descent. The vessel's rim glows faintly, tracing the contours of the invisible currents guiding the fall. As the dust collects, it begins to resonate. Each grain vibrates with residual motion, a memory of orbit, of pressure, of unimaginable heat now long gone. Together, these vibrations form a chord. The artisan hears it not as sound, but as sensation, a gentle pressure behind the eyes, a warmth in the chest, a quiet alertness. This chord carries information, not facts or images, but qualities, a sense of expansion or contraction, of restlessness or calm, of abundance or restraint. From this, the artisan knows what kind of ornament the dust wishes to become. Tonight's dust is contemplative. It glows with a subdued amber light, flecked with soft blue, It suggests long arcs and gentle curves, no sharp edges, no sudden flares. An ornament meant to soothe a region of the sky that has grown tense, crowded with light that presses too close upon itself. The artisan brings the vessel to the furnace, allowing the warmth to coax the dust into readiness. As it awakens, the glow deepens, and the cord shifts slightly, settling into a steady hum. The blowpipe meets the dust. Breath follows. The first exhalation is always exploratory, a greeting more than a command. The dust responds tentatively, forming a small, luminous swell at the pipe's tip. The artisan pauses, listening for resistance, for eagerness, for imbalance. Then the true shaping begins. With each breath, the ornament grows, expanding outward like a thought unfolding. The artisan rotates the blowpipe slowly, keeping the form centered. Gravity pulls gently, and the artisan compensates with minute adjustments, ensuring the light remains evenly distributed. Time behaves differently here. Minutes stretch, seconds dissolve. The only measure is the breath and the glow responding to it. Outside the tower, clouds drift. Somewhere far below, a leaf falls. Inside the studio, an entire constellation's future is being quietly adjusted. The artisan introduces a shaping rod, touching the glowing surface lightly. The contact leaves a faint line, a ripple in the light that spreads and then settles. This line will guide the ornament's interaction with surrounding stars, redirecting excess brightness without diminishing it. Another tool smooths the curve, refining it until the surface reflects the studio's glow in a soft, even gradient. The ornament's hum deepens, stabilizing. As the work continues, memories surface, not as images, but as impressions. The artisan remembers the first imbalance. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, a barely noticeable thinning of starlight in one region of the sky, a faint overcrowding in another. At first, the sky compensated on its own, as it had always done. But the shifts continued, slow and cumulative. The artisan remembers realizing that something needed to be done. There was no announcement, no instruction, just a growing awareness that waiting would no longer be enough, that listening must be paired with action. The tower seemed to understand, altering itself to accommodate the work. The first crude ornaments were formed then, thicker, less refined, but effective. Over time, the craft evolved. Breath became more precise, tools more responsive. The artisan learned not just how to shape the light, but how to release it. Placement proved as important as creation. An ornament released too soon or too late could overcorrect, introducing new tensions. Tonight's ornament nears completion. Its form is elongated, with a gentle narrowing at the center and flared ends that curve slightly inward. It resembles a held breath made visible, a pause between inhalation and exhalation. The artisan inspects it carefully. There are no flaws, but perfection is not the goal. What matters is harmony, how the ornament will behave once freed from the studio's controlled stillness. The artisan senses into the form, imagining its journey upward, its eventual settling among the stars it will quietly serve. Satisfied, the artisan places the ornament into the annealing cradle. As it cools, excess energy bleeds off in soft pulses, absorbed by the tower's marble veins. The ornament's glow dims slightly, becoming more stable, more self-contained. Now comes the release. The artisan carries the cooled ornament to the highest platform. The ceiling opens again, revealing a sky dense with stars, their light sharpened by the deepening night. The air shifts, responding to the opening like a lung drawing breath. The artisan raises the ornament. For a moment it resists, not out of reluctance, but out of awareness. It senses the vastness beyond the tower, the cold openness of the sky. The artisan steadies it, offering one final breath, not blown, but shared. Then the ornament is released. It rises slowly at first, buoyed by residual warmth and light. As it ascends, it begins to accelerate, guided by invisible currents known only to the sky. Its glow intensifies briefly, then settles into a steady radiance. High above, it finds its place. There is no flash, no announcement, just a subtle shift, a relaxation. A region of the sky loosens, allowing light to spread more evenly. The stars nearby adjust their distances by imperceptible degrees. The night exhales. Inside the tower, the artisan closes the ceiling. The studio quiets, but does not sleep. The remaining ornaments hum softly, each holding its own resonance, awaiting its moment. The tools rest, but remain attentive. The artisan stands still for a long time, listening. The sky responds, not with gratitude, not with praise, but with balance, with a sense of rightness that needs no acknowledgement. This is enough. Eventually, the artisan descends the spiral stairs, each step echoing faintly within the translucent walls. The tower dims, returning to its daytime stillness. Above it all, stars continue their ancient work, burning, shedding, balancing. And the dust continues to fall, carrying with it the quiet language of light, waiting for breath to give it form. Not all warmth is the same. There is the sharp heat of flame, restless and consuming. There is the heavy heat of stone under midday sun, dense and unyielding. And then there is the warmth that lingers, quiet, patient, shaped by time, the kind that remembers where it came from. The furnace at the heart of the Star-Glass studio does not burn. There is no fire fed by fuel, no smoke, no crackle of combustion. Instead, the furnace glows from within, as though it were holding a small, disciplined sunrise in its core. Its surface is smooth, faceted with crystal inlays that catch and bend the light it emits. These crystals are not decorative, they are memory vessels. All day long, while the artisan rests and the tower stands open to the passing hours, the furnace listens to the sun. Sunlight passes through the translucent marble walls and settles into the crystal lattice embedded deep within the floor and walls of the studio. Each ray is slowed, refracted, softened. The crystals absorb not just the light's energy, but its quality, the angle of its arrival, the warmth of the season, the clarity or haze of the atmosphere. By dusk, the furnace is full. It holds the day in suspension, preserving its warmth without urgency. This stored sunlight is what awakens the stardust each night, coaxing it into a state where it can remember how to glow without burning itself away. The artisan approaches the furnace with respect. Not reverence in the sense of awe, but in the sense of careful relationship. The artisan knows that the furnace is not a tool to be controlled, but a partner in the work. Its warmth must be met with patience, not demand. When stardust is placed near the furnace, the reaction is immediate but subtle. The dust stirs, as if recognizing something familiar. Though it was born in the heart of a star, it has traveled for so long through cold, dark space that warmth now feels like a distant memory being gently recalled. The furnace does not force that memory. It offers it. The artisan watches as the dust's glow deepens, stabilizing into a steady radiance. The color shifts are minute but meaningful. Amber warming toward gold, silver gaining depth, blues clarifying. These changes tell the artisan when the dust is ready. Too soon, and the dust resists shaping, remaining brittle and unstable. Too late, and it grows restless, eager to disperse. Timing here is not measured by clocks, but by attentiveness. The furnace hums softly, a low vibration felt through the soles of the feet. This hum is constant, but its texture changes throughout the night. Early on, it is bright and alert, carrying the crispness of late afternoon. As the hours pass, it deepens, taking on the softness of twilight, then the stillness of midnight. The artisan adjusts the furnace's exposure by subtle means: sliding panels, rotating crystal facets, opening or closing narrow vents that guide the stored warmth. Each adjustment is small, but cumulative, shaping the thermal environment of the studio like a slow, deliberate composition. There are nights when the furnace must be restrained. When the day has been particularly bright, when the sun's energy is abundant, the stored warmth can become too eager. Stardust warmed too quickly may glow too intensely, making it difficult to shape without introducing tension. On those nights, the artisan dims the furnace slightly, allowing the warmth to settle. Patience is practiced not only with the materials, but with the energy itself. And there are nights when the furnace must be encouraged. During long winters, when daylight is scarce and pale, the stored warmth is thinner. The artisan compensates by adjusting the crystals to concentrate what little sunlight was captured, guiding it more efficiently toward the dust. In this way, the furnace mirrors the seasons, translating their rhythms into the nightly work. As the artisan shapes an ornament, the furnace remains a quiet presence. Its warmth keeps the stardust pliable, responsive to breathe and tool. Without it, the light would fracture or fade. There is a memory held within the furnace that the artisan rarely revisits directly. It is the memory of the first day. The day when the artisan realized that the sun could be asked to help. Before the furnace existed, the early ornaments were shaped with great difficulty. Stardust resisted manipulation, its glow erratic. Many forms failed, collapsing into formless light or dissipating entirely. The imbalance in the sky worsened. It was then that the artisan noticed how the tower itself responded to sunlight. The marble walls did not merely transmit light. They held it, retained it, released it slowly after dusk, bathing the interior in a gentle glow. The artisan studied this behavior, listening to the way warmth moved through the structure. The furnace was born from that listening. Crystals were embedded, arranged not for maximum heat, but for maximum memory. The goal was not to recreate the sun's intensity, but to preserve its calm. When the first furnace was completed and the first stardust warmed by stored sunlight, the change was immediate. The dust relaxed, the glow steadied. Breath met resistance no longer, but cooperation. The ornaments that followed were finer, more precise. Their effects in the sky were gentler, more lasting. Tonight, the furnace holds the memory of a mild day. Sunlight filtered through thin clouds, diffused and even. The warmth is balanced, neither sharp nor dull. This makes it ideal for crafting ornaments meant to stabilize rather than redirect aggressively. The artisan selects a portion of stardust already warmed to readiness. As it is gathered onto the blowpipe, the furnace's hum shifts, responding to the removal of energy. The crystals subtly realign, redistributing warmth to maintain equilibrium. Breath enters the process again. With each exhalation, the furnace seems to listen, modulating its output in response. The ornament grows, its surface smooth and even. The light within it carries the quality of the day, soft, steady, reliable. As the shaping continues, the artisan moves closer to the furnace, then farther away, adjusting the ornament's exposure. Nearer, the glow intensifies, allowing finer details to be drawn out. Farther, the surface stabilizes, preventing sagging or distortion. This dance between distance and warmth is slow and deliberate. There is no rush. Outside the tower, the moon climbs higher. Its light intersects with the tower's glow, creating layers of illumination that shift with the night's progression. The furnace responds subtly, adjusting to the cooler tones introduced by moonlight. The ornament nears completion. It is simpler than some. No elaborate filigree, no dramatic flares. Its beauty lies in its restraint. A smooth, elongated form with a gentle internal gradient, brighter at the center, dimming toward the edges. This ornament will not draw attention in the sky. It will work quietly, diffusing excess brightness across a wide region, preventing clustering without creating emptiness. A mediator, a harmonizer. The artisan places it into the annealing cradle. As it cools, the furnace releases a small portion of stored warmth back into the studio, preventing sudden temperature shifts. The ornament's glow settles, becoming calm and self-sustaining. For a moment, the artisan rests a hand on the furnace's surface. The warmth felt there is neither hot nor cold. It is simply present, a reminder that even the most distant light can be held, remembered, and shared gently. Soon, the ornament will be released into the sky, carrying with it the memory of the sun, shaped by breath, stabilized by patience. And the furnace will continue its quiet work, gathering the next day's light, preparing for another night of balance. The night sky is not still. Though it appears calm to the watching eye, it is always in motion, subtle, continuous, and vast. Stars drift along ancient paths, drawn by forces that do not hurry yet never stop. Light travels, bends, fades, and arrives again. Darkness flows between points of brilliance like a quiet river. The ornaments shaped within the tower are born into this movement. Each one must understand motion without being swept away by it, must offer stillness without becoming rigid. The balance they maintain is not achieved through force, but through relationship. The artisan knows this. When shaping an ornament, the artisan is not merely creating a form, but teaching it how to listen, how to yield, how to hold its place while allowing the sky to move around it. There are ornaments meant for stillness. These are placed in regions of the sky where light gathers too densely, where stars press close together, intensifying one another until the space between them tightens. In such places, motion becomes anxious, light ricochets, creating strain. Ornaments of stillness are shaped to absorb this excess movement. They are often smooth, with minimal surface detail. Their forms are symmetrical, encouraging even distribution. When placed among clustered stars, they act as quiet centers, points around which motion can slow and reorganize. The artisan shapes these with long, steady breaths. Each exhalation is measured, consistent. The ornament grows evenly, its glow calm and unbroken. Tools are used sparingly, only to refine the curve or ensure balance. When released into the sky, these ornaments settle gently. Their presence is barely perceptible, yet over time, stars around them drift apart by minute degrees. Light relaxes. The region breathes again. Then there are ornaments meant for motion. These are placed in areas where the sky has grown stagnant, where stars drift too far apart, where darkness pools and light thins. In such places, motion slows to the point of stillness, and the sky loses its vitality. Ornaments of motion are shaped differently. They carry asymmetry, gentle spirals, flared edges. Their surfaces are textured, catching and redirecting light as it passes. The artisan introduces controlled irregularities, allowing the ornament to interact dynamically with its surroundings. Breath here is more varied. The artisan alternates between longer exhalations and shorter ones, creating subtle variations in thickness and density. The ornament responds, developing internal currents of light that will later encourage movement around it. When released, these ornaments do not settle immediately. They drift, rotating slowly, influencing nearby starlight. Over time, stars begin to migrate closer, drawn by the redistributed glow. Motion returns, unforced but persistent. The artisan holds both kinds of ornaments in equal regard. Stillness and motion are not opposites, but partners. Each is necessary. Too much of one leads to imbalance. The sky, like breath, depends on their interplay. Tonight, the artisan prepares a pair. The falling stardust carries a dual quality, calm at its core, but edged with restlessness. This suggests a region where stillness has become too deep, bordering on stagnation, yet where abrupt motion would be disruptive. The solution is not a single ornament, but two, designed to work in conversation. The first is shaped for stillness. The artisan warms the dust gently, keeping it close to the furnace. The blowpipe gathers a portion, and the breath remains slow, unbroken. The ornament grows into a near-perfect sphere, its glow even and subdued. Its surface is polished to a high clarity, allowing light to pass through with minimal distortion. This ornament will anchor the region, providing a stable reference point. The second ornament is shaped for motion. From the same dust, warmed slightly more intensely, the artisan gathers another portion. This time, the breath varies subtly. A longer exhale here, a pause, then a shorter one. The form develops a gentle spiral, barely perceptible but intentional. The artisan uses a fine tool to draw out a faint ridge, then smooths it partially, leaving just enough texture to interact with passing light. The ornament's glow flickers softly, alive with potential movement. Both ornaments are placed into the annealing cradle, cooling side by side. As they rest, Their hums begin to synchronize. Not identical, but complementary. The artisan listens, adjusting their positions until the resonance between them feels balanced. When the time comes, they are released together. The stillness ornament rises first, ascending steadily, finding its place near the center of the targeted region. It settles, its glow stabilizing the surrounding light. The motion ornament follows, drifting slightly off-center. It begins a slow rotation, its textured surface catching starlight and redirecting it toward the stillness anchor. The two interact, creating a gentle circulation of light and motion. Over time, the region transforms. Stars that had drifted too far apart begin to inch closer, guided by the redistributed glow. The darkness between them thins, not erased, but softened. Motion returns, measured and sustainable. Inside the tower, the artisan feels the change. Not as satisfaction, but as release. A tension easing, a knot untangling. The work is never about imposing order, but about restoring conversation where it has fallen silent. The studio quiets again. The remaining ornaments rest, each holding a different potential. Some will be needed soon. Others may wait for centuries. Time is generous here. The artisan walks among them, fingertips grazing the air near their surfaces without touching. Each ornament carries a distinct quality, some serene, some lively, some contemplative. Together, they form a library of responses to the sky's many moods. Outside, the night continues its slow turning. The stars move, the darkness flows. Light travels immense distances to arrive gently upon the tower's walls. And within the translucent marble, breath and warmth remain ready, prepared to shape whatever balance the sky next requires. Night has a weight. It is not heavy in the way stone is heavy, nor pressing in the way deep water presses. Its weight is subtle, cumulative. It gathers slowly, layer upon layer of darkness settling over the world, asking those beneath it to slow, to soften, to yield attention. The artisan feels this weight more than most. Each night spent shaping light leaves a trace, not of exhaustion exactly, but of deep engagement. The body tires, yes, but more profoundly, the breath remembers. It carries the night within it, long after dawn has arrived. The tower accommodates this weight. Its walls, translucent and patient, absorb the night's presence and release it gradually with the morning light. The spiral stairs offer a slow descent, giving the artisan time to return to the rhythm of the day. Nothing here demands abrupt transitions. Yet even with this gentleness, there are nights when the work is heavy. Not because it is difficult, but because the sky itself is strained. On such nights, the falling stardust arrives unevenly. Some regions shed too much at once, while others release nothing at all. The artisan senses this as a kind of imbalance in the air, a faint resistance to breathe, a tightening behind the ribs. Tonight is such a night. The dust arrives in brief, erratic pulses, glowing too brightly, then dimming. Its chord is unstable, wavering. This tells the artisan that the sky is under pressure, responding to shifts far beyond the visible horizon. The artisan does not hurry. Patience becomes the primary tool. Rather than shaping immediately, the artisan allows the dust to rest near the furnace, warming slowly, stabilizing. The breath remains shallow at first, exploratory, offering presence without commitment. This restraint is learned. In earlier times, the artisan might have rushed to correct the imbalance, producing ornaments quickly, releasing them in rapid succession. The results were effective in the short term, but introduced subtle rigidity into the sky, a sense of overcorrection that took generations to soften. Now the artisan waits. Breath deepens gradually, not to shape, but to listen. Each inhale gathers information. Each exhale releases the urge to act prematurely. The weight of the night presses gently, reminding the artisan that not all tension must be resolved immediately. Some imbalances are part of longer cycles, requiring response that unfolds across centuries rather than hours. Eventually, the dust settles. Its glow steadies, losing its sharp edges. The chord resolves into a quieter resonance. Only then does the artisan begin to shape. The ornament formed tonight is small, smaller than many before it. This, too, is intentional. When the sky is strained, subtlety is often more effective than force. A small adjustment, placed precisely, can ease pressure without drawing attention. The artisan gathers the dust onto the blowpipe, using minimal warmth. The breath is gentle, barely expanding the form. The ornament grows slowly, its surface thick enough to be stable, thin enough to remain responsive. As it takes shape, the artisan feels the night's weight more acutely. The shoulders ache slightly. The breath demands attention. Each exhalation must be conscious, measured, supported. This is not strain, but effort, an honest engagement with the work. There is no desire to escape this feeling. The artisan understands that fatigue is a signal, not a failure. It indicates that the night is asking for care, not speed, for presence, not productivity. When the ornament is complete, it is allowed to cool longer than usual. The annealing cradle hums softly, extending its cycle. The furnace dims slightly, conserving warmth. The studio seems to lean inward, holding space for rest. The artisan sits. This is rare, but not forbidden. There are moments when stillness within the studio is as important as movement. Sitting, the artisan aligns the breath with the tower's slow pulse, allowing the body to recover its rhythm. From this seated position, the artisan observes the remaining ornaments. They glow softly, their hums overlapping in complex patterns. Some resonate more strongly tonight, responding to the sky's tension. Others remain quiet, content to wait. The artisan notes these responses, committing them to memory. This informs future work, not as data, but as embodied understanding. When the time comes, the ornament is released. It rises slowly, its small size making it nearly invisible against the vastness of the sky. Yet its effect is immediate. It settles into a narrow corridor of light where tension had been building, easing it just enough to prevent fracture. The sky responds with a subtle shift. Not a dramatic change, but a softening. The pressure dissipates slightly. The night breathes more easily. Inside the tower, the artisan exhales fully. The weight of the night remains, but it is now shared. The sky carries part of it again, as it should. As dawn approaches, the artisan completes the final tasks, covering the furnace, securing the tools, ensuring the studio will rest properly through the day. Each action is unhurried, deliberate. Descending the spiral stairs, the artisan feels the gradual return of daylight. The tower brightens, its marble walls releasing stored night as pale, diffuse light. Outside, the world begins to stir. Birds call, winds shift, the sky lightens, its stars fading from view, not gone, merely resting. The artisan reaches the lower chambers and pauses. Here, the night's weight lifts, replaced by the day's gentle presence. The breath adjusts naturally, deepening with less effort. Another night has been met, not conquered, not solved, simply held, shaped, and released with patience. And the tower stands ready, knowing that when the night returns, it will bring both weight and wonder, each requiring the same quiet breath. The sky is often thought of as forgetful. Stars flare and fade. Light travels vast distances only to vanish upon arrival. Nights pass, replaced by days, replaced again by nights, each seeming to erase the last. From the ground, the sky appears endlessly renewed, untouched by what has come before. But the sky remembers. It remembers not in images or stories, but in patterns, in distances subtly altered, in rhythms adjusted by fractions too small to measure directly. Memory in the sky is cumulative, layered, and slow. The ornaments become part of this memory. Once released, they do not simply exist in the present moment. They influence trajectories, redirecting light and motion in ways that ripple forward through time. A single ornament placed carefully can alter the course of starlight for millennia, its effect diffusing gradually, gently, like a thought settling into understanding. The artisan is aware of this weight. Every ornament carries responsibility beyond its immediate effect. Its influence will persist long after the artisan has shaped countless others. This awareness informs every breath, every pause, every decision to act or wait. Some ornaments are meant to fade. These are shaped thinly, with just enough cohesion to perform their function for a limited time. They gradually disperse, releasing their light back into the sky once their work is complete. Such ornaments address transient imbalances, temporary tensions caused by passing phenomena. Others are meant to endure. These are thicker, more stable, crafted to remain for ages. They become quiet fixtures of the night, their presence woven so seamlessly into the sky's structure that they are indistinguishable from natural stars to any but the most attentive observers. The artisan knows which is which from the dust itself. Stardust carries intention. Some dust hums with urgency, asking to be shaped quickly, to act and then dissolve. Other dust resonates slowly, deeply, suggesting a long roll. The artisan listens, honoring these qualities rather than imposing preference. Tonight, the dust speaks of memory. It glows with a deep, steady light, tinged with subtle variations, faint traces of colors that shift as the artisan moves around it. This suggests an ornament meant to endure, one that will become part of the sky's long-term awareness. The artisan warms the dust carefully, maintaining a stable temperature. The furnace hums in a low, constant register, providing even warmth. The breath remains steady, unbroken. As the ornament takes shape, the artisan introduces internal structures, barely perceptible layers within the glass. These layers will interact with light differently depending on its angle and intensity, allowing the ornament to respond to changes over time. This is not rigidity, but adaptability. The ornament will age with the sky, As stars shift and brightness fluctuates, the ornament's internal layers will gradually adjust, redistributing light in new ways. It will not resist change, but incorporate it, becoming more effective as conditions evolve. The artisan works slowly. Each layer requires precise breath control, careful modulation of warmth, and attentive listening to the ornament's hum. The studio seems to quiet around this work, as though the tower itself recognizes the significance. When the ornament nears completion, it glows with a depth unlike the others. Its light does not simply radiate outward. It seems to hold space, creating a sense of presence that extends beyond its physical boundaries. This is the quality of memory, not an object, but a field of influence. Before releasing it, the artisan pauses. This pause is not hesitation, it is acknowledgement. The artisan senses forward, feeling the ornament's future, its slow interactions with passing light, its subtle guidance of motion, its role in maintaining balance across generations. Satisfied, the artisan releases it into the sky. It ascends steadily, finding a position among a cluster of long-lived stars. There, it settles, its glow merging with theirs. Over time, it will influence how their light overlaps, preventing slow drift into imbalance. The sky accepts it. There is a faint resonance, felt rather than seen, a deepening of the night's tone, like a chord resolving into fullness. The artisan feels this acceptance as a quiet certainty. Inside the tower, the remaining ornaments hum softly, responding to the change. The artisan notes this interaction. Ornaments do not exist in isolation. Each release subtly affects the behavior of those still waiting. Their hums shift, recalibrating in anticipation of future needs. This network of responses forms a kind of dialogue between studio and sky. The tower, too, remembers. Its marble walls retain traces of every night's work. Not stains or marks, but patterns of light embedded within their translucence. Over centuries, these patterns have accumulated, giving the tower its unique glow, a composite of countless balanced nights. Sometimes during the day, sunlight catches these embedded patterns, revealing fleeting images, arcs, spirals, faint outlines reminiscent of ornaments long since dispersed. These are not records meant to be read, but echoes of care. The artisan moves through these echoes daily, shaped by them even without conscious attention. Memory here is ambient, informing posture, breath, and decision. As dawn approaches, the studio settles. The furnace dims, releasing its last warmth. The tools rest. The remaining ornaments quiet, their hums aligning with the tower's daytime rhythm. The artisan descends the spiral stairs once more. With each step, the awareness of vast time recedes slightly, replaced by the immediacy of the day. Yet the knowledge remains, held gently, like a background tone. Above, the sky lightens. Stars fade, but do not forget. The ornaments remain, working quietly, guiding light and motion through another cycle. The sky remembers. And because it remembers, it continues. When the sun rises fully, the studio rests. Not in emptiness, not in abandonment, but in a state of gentle suspension. The night's work lingers in the air, softened and diffused, while the day brings its own quiet responsibilities. The tower changes with the light. Morning enters slowly through the translucent marble walls, spreading like a pale tide. The glow is even, without glare, illuminating the studio in soft gradients. Shadows are rare here. Forms appear with clarity, edges softened, as though everything is viewed through a layer of breath. The artisan moves differently in daylight. There is less urgency, less precision demanded of the body. The breath finds its own rhythm, deeper and less consciously guided. Muscles that held tension through the night release it gradually, responding to the warmth filtering through the walls. The first task of the day is always listening. Not to the sky directly, that conversation resumes at dusk, but to the studio itself. The artisan walks slowly through the space, attentive to subtle changes. A tool resting slightly out of alignment, a crystal facet catching the light at a new angle, a faint hum lingering where an ornament once rested. These details matter. They are the studio's way of speaking, of conveying what the night's work has left behind. Adjustments made now will shape how the studio responds when night returns. The furnace is inspected next. In daylight, it appears almost inert, a structure of smooth stone and crystal, cool to the touch. Yet within its lattice, yesterday's sunlight is still present, diffused and waiting. The artisan checks the crystal alignments, making minute adjustments to optimize how the coming day's light will be captured. This is slow work. The artisan rotates a facet by a fraction, then waits. Observes how the light shifts, how warmth distributes. A small change here can alter the furnace's behavior hours later, affecting how stardust will awaken. Once satisfied, the artisan turns attention to the ornaments at rest. These are the ones not yet released, some newly formed, others waiting for conditions that have not yet arrived. They are arranged carefully, each in a position that suits its nature. Those meant for stillness are given space, their glow allowed to settle evenly. Those meant for motion are placed where subtle currents of light pass, keeping them gently responsive. The artisan does not touch them directly. Proximity is enough, a presence felt, a relationship maintained. The ornaments respond by adjusting their hums, aligning with the day's quieter tone. There are times during the day when the artisan simply stands by the windows. The tower offers views in all directions, though none are entirely clear. The translucent marble blurs distance, merging sky and land into layered impressions. This is intentional. Sharp detail would pull the mind outward too strongly, disrupting the inward focus that the work requires. Through the marble, the artisan senses the world below. Forests shift in the breeze. Water reflects changing light. Creatures move through their cycles, unaware of the night's quiet labor above them. The artisan does not intervene here. Balance below is shaped indirectly, through the sky's influence. As midday approaches, the sun's light strengthens. The furnace responds, crystals brightening as they absorb warmth. The studio's temperature rises slightly, though never uncomfortably. The artisan adjusts vents and panels, guiding the flow, ensuring the warmth is distributed evenly and stored efficiently. This preparation is as important as any act of shaping. Without it, the night's work would falter. Stardust would resist. Breath would strain. Balance would slip. In the afternoon, the artisan rests, not sleeping necessarily, but entering a state of low activity. Sitting or reclining near the tower's inner wall, the artisan allows the body to integrate the night's work, Breath remains present but unforced. Thoughts drift, unanchored. This rest is not idle. It is here that understanding deepens. Patterns noticed during the night settle into intuition. Mistakes, minor misalignments, subtle delays are recognized without judgment. Plans form not as lists or schedules, but as felt responses. Sometimes during these hours, the artisan senses distant changes in the sky. Not events, but tendencies. A slow gathering of brightness in one quadrant, a thinning elsewhere. These impressions are vague but valuable. They inform how the studio will be prepared in the coming days. As evening approaches, the quality of light shifts again. The sun lowers, its rays entering the tower at new angles. The furnace crystals adjust, capturing this light with particular care. Late afternoon warmth carries a different memory, softer, tinged with reflection. The artisan becomes more alert. Tools are checked once more, vessels cleaned and aligned. The studio is subtly rearranged, creating space for the work anticipated that night. Each movement is unhurried, yet purposeful. There is no anxiety about what the night will bring. The artisan trusts the process, trusts the listening, trusts the capacity to respond. As dusk nears, the tower begins its familiar transformation. The stored warmth shifts, preparing to awaken stardust. The walls deepen in tone, ready to receive the first stars. The studio's hum rises slightly, a quiet readiness. The artisan stands at the center of the space, breathing. In this moment between day and night, rest and work, the tower feels especially alive. Not active, but attentive. A held pause, waiting for the sky to lean close once more. And soon it will. There are nights when listening reveals not imbalance, but hesitation. A pause in the sky's long confidence. A moment when the usual rhythms, so steady, so patient, waver slightly, as though unsure of their next step. These moments are rare. When they occur, they carry a different weight than ordinary strain. The artisan knows this feeling. It arrives not as urgency, but as silence. On such nights, the falling stardust does not come immediately. The ceiling opens as it always does. The stars gather as they always have, yet nothing descends. The air remains still, unmarked by the whisper of dust. The sky is holding something back. The artisan does not force the issue. Instead, the posture shifts subtly. The breath becomes receptive rather than shaping. The studio quiets further, tools resting untouched. The furnace maintains a low, steady warmth, prepared but restrained. Listening deepens. Eventually, the sky speaks, not through dust, but through absence. A vast region above has grown uncertain, its internal balances stretched by forces moving too slowly to be noticed until now. This is not a local imbalance, not something a single ornament can resolve. It is a falter. Stars there are not colliding, nor drifting dangerously apart. Instead, they hesitate, their motions losing coherence. Light overlaps without clarity. Darkness thickens without intention. The artisan feels this as a diffuse pressure, not sharp but pervasive. In earlier ages, such faltering might have gone unaddressed, allowed to unfold unchecked until imbalance became severe. But the sky has learned, just as the artisan has learned. It now reaches out earlier, asking not for correction, but for support. When the first stardust finally arrives, It is different. Heavier, denser, carrying less glow than usual. Its chord is low and complex, layered with harmonics that resist easy interpretation. This dust comes from stars that have not shed lightly, but reluctantly, releasing only what they must. The artisan receives it carefully. The vessel used tonight is thicker than usual, its glass reinforced with internal filaments of light. The dust settles slowly, as though unsure whether it wishes to remain. The furnace is adjusted. Warmth is introduced gradually, almost imperceptibly. The goal is not to awaken the dust quickly, but to reassure it, to remind it that it is held. The artisan breathes shallowly at first, not to shape, but to synchronize. Breath and dust find a shared rhythm, slow and tentative. Only when this rhythm stabilizes does the artisan deepen the breath. The ornament formed tonight will be unlike others. It will not be released quickly. It will not act alone. It is meant to become part of a network, one of several anchors placed over time, each supporting the others, creating a scaffold of coherence across the faltering region. The shaping is deliberate and complex. Layers are built carefully, each one slightly offset from the last. Internal structures interlock, forming channels through which light can move slowly and deliberately. The ornament grows thicker than most, its glow subdued but steady. This is not an ornament meant to shine. It is meant to listen. As the artisan works, the studio responds. The walls deepen in tone, absorbing excess light. The furnace hum lowers, matching the ornament's resonance. Even the air seems to thicken, slowing movement, encouraging care. Hours pass. The night advances without hurry. Outside the tower, stars continue their motions elsewhere, unaware of the quiet crisis unfolding in one region of the sky. Balance is rarely dramatic. Most of its work happens unseen. When the ornament is complete, it rests longer than any before. The annealing cradle extends its cycle, cooling the form gradually over many hours. The artisan remains nearby, attentive but still. There is no sense of completion yet, only preparation. The release does not happen that night, nor the next. The artisan waits, continuing to listen to the sky's faltering rhythm. More dust arrives over subsequent nights, each portion shaped into similar ornaments, anchors designed to work together. When enough have been formed, the release begins. One by one, over many nights, the ornaments are placed carefully throughout the affected region. Their positions are chosen not for symmetry, but for responsiveness, points where light hesitates, where motion stalls. As they settle, the change is gradual. There is no immediate correction, no sudden clarity. Instead, coherence returns slowly, like warmth spreading through chilled stone. Stars begin to recover their confidence, their motions aligning once more with the deeper currents of the sky. The artisan feels this recovery not as relief, but as quiet affirmation. The sky has not been fixed. It has been accompanied. When the final ornament is released, the faltering has passed. The region remains marked by a subtle difference, a depth, a complexity born of having nearly lost balance and regained it thoughtfully. The artisan closes the ceiling that night with care. The studio rests, holding the memory of extended patience, of work that unfolded across many breaths, many nights. This memory will inform future responses, deepening the craft. For faltering will happen again. And when it does, breath, warmth, and listening will be ready. Breath is more than life. In the Star-Glass studio, it is structure, rhythm, and foundation. It shapes not only the ornaments, but the artisan's own relationship with space, time, and light. Over centuries of practice, the simple act of inhalation and exhalation has become a subtle architecture, a framework upon which every gesture, every movement, every creation depends. The tower itself echoes this architecture. The spiral stairs, the high ceilings, the translucent marble walls, they do not merely contain air, they channel it. They respond to the artisan's inhalations, carry whispers of exhalations, amplify vibrations of patience and attention. Each corner of the studio is attuned to the motion of breath. Even the furnace listens, modulating its warmth in tandem with subtle changes in rhythm. To watch the artisan breathe is to witness a scaffold in motion. Long, steady inhalations draw warmth and awareness inward. Exhalations release tension, shaping light as tangibly as any tool. There are no abrupt changes, no forceful bursts. Instead, the air folds and flows like a living framework, supporting delicate ornaments that will soon hold the balance of the night sky. The ornaments themselves respond. Stardust is pliable only when the rhythm is steady. A hesitant inhalation causes irregularity. An uneven exhalation produces tension within the glass. Through breath, the artisan teaches the dust not only form, but patience, resilience, and subtlety. Every ornament carries the imprint of the rhythm that shaped it, a quiet resonance that extends far beyond its material. Even time bends to breathe here. Minutes pass differently when measured by inhalations and exhalations rather than clocks. The process of shaping an ornament, warming it, coaxing it, listening to its hum, creates a temporal rhythm that the sky itself recognizes. Nights stretch gently, collapsing and expanding without hurry, allowing the celestial bodies to adjust in tandem. The sky is not forced. It is invited to move with measured grace. There is a meditative quality to this architecture. The artisan often pauses, inhaling fully, feeling the warmth collected by the furnace, the light diffused by marble walls, the subtle vibrations of ornaments resting and waiting. Exhalation releases this energy outward, blending with the studio, the tower, the night beyond. Each cycle reinforces the space itself, making it capable of supporting the most delicate forms of starlight. Sometimes, the artisan's breath shapes the studio even without ornaments. Standing in silence, a single exhale can cause a flicker in the furnace's glow, shifting warmth slightly, encouraging a crystal to redirect light. The air itself becomes a medium, a conduit of intention, a quiet sculptor. The tower and the artisan breathe together, as if co-creating an invisible lattice that underpins every act of shaping starlight to come. Over the centuries, this lattice has grown. It is both physical and metaphysical. Physical in the way the tower and tools respond to the flow of breath. Metaphysical in the way the rhythm influences the sky, the dust, and the very timing of events in the heavens. Each inhalation and exhalation becomes an echo carried far above, shaping stars, light, and the subtle currents of the cosmos. On particularly quiet nights, the artisan meditates on this lattice. breathing slowly, noticing how the air moves around the tower's curves, sensing how warmth and light converge and disperse, feeling the ornaments resonate gently. In these moments, the line between studio, artisan, and sky blurs. Breath is not merely a tool. It is the medium through which the cosmos is gently encouraged to maintain harmony. Through breath, the Star-Glass studio becomes a living organism. The tower inhales. The furnace hums in response. The dust awakens, ornaments grow, and the night sky adjusts. Each cycle of inhalation and exhalation is a carefully orchestrated negotiation between stillness and motion, between light and shadow, between patience and release. And in the center of it all, the artisan remains, a quiet axis. Not imposing order, not dominating space or matter, but offering rhythm, guidance, and attentive care. Breath forms the framework upon which the balance of stars is maintained. In this way, breathing itself becomes as vital and enduring as marble, crystal, or starlight. Here, in the quiet expanse of the studio, the world is held not by force, but by rhythm, by patience, by breath. Light is never solitary. Even the brightest star cannot exist without darkness to frame it. Even the faintest glimmer interacts with all the radiance around it. In the Star-Glass studio, light does not simply illuminate. It converses, responds, reflects, and recalls. Each ornament is not just an object. It is a participant in an ongoing dialogue that extends across space and time. The artisan listens to this dialogue. It begins subtly, a faint shimmer along a crystal's edge, a barely perceptible hum in the furnace, the way a stray dust particle glows in response to another nearby. The studio becomes a chamber for these murmurs, a space where light can speak freely. Here, no words are necessary. Resonance alone carries meaning. Ornaments speak to one another. A newly formed ornament may be placed near one shaped years earlier. They do not collide. Instead, their glows intertwine, harmonizing gently. The older ornament may guide the younger, softening edges or redirecting light. The younger may introduce a subtle variation, nudging the other into new paths. This exchange is delicate, barely perceptible to an outside observer, yet profound in its effect on the night sky. The tower participates as well. Its translucent walls bend and diffuse light, creating channels of interaction. Sunlight stored in the furnace is refracted and layered through crystal facets, producing overlapping patterns. Shadows and illumination converse as fluidly as breath and ornament, each movement rippling outward. Even in the absence of stardust, the studio hums with quiet dialogue. The artisan mediates, not commands. Hands and tools intervene only to encourage clarity, to prevent interference, to maintain balance. The dialogue is natural, spontaneous, and self-regulating. Breath acts as a tuning mechanism, modulating the studio's response, amplifying certain harmonics, softening others. Through breath, the artisan ensures the conversation remains coherent, yet free. Some conversations are subtle and long. An ornament placed tonight may not influence its neighbors immediately. Its glow may ebb and flow, responding to the faint signals of older pieces, exchanging light in pulses that stretch across nights or months. The sky itself carries these interactions forward, subtly realigning starlight, smoothing motion, softening clusters, or filling gaps. Patience is essential. Conversations unfold according to their own rhythm. Others are immediate. On nights when stardust is dense, or when the sky is particularly tense, interactions accelerate. Ornaments influence each other in complex patterns, creating swirls of motion and light that the artisan observes carefully, breathing in time with the flux. Small adjustments, slight rotations, micro shifts in position, careful modulation of warmth, help the conversation remain clear and balanced. Even imperfection has its voice. No ornament is flawless. A subtle asymmetry, a slight unevenness, a variation in internal glow, these features allow dialogue to flourish. Perfect symmetry would silence the exchange, reducing it to static repetition. Flaws create opportunity for response, for improvisation, for growth. The sky's memory records these interactions, and over centuries, they ripple outward, subtly shaping the trajectories of stars. Sometimes the dialogue extends beyond the studio. Ornaments released into the sky carry their conversations with them. They continue to interact with starlight, with neighboring ornaments, with regions where light grows too dense or too sparse. The patterns created in the studio become a living network in the heavens, dynamic and self-adjusting. Light itself remembers, responds, and communicates. The artisan observes and participates simultaneously. Breath, hands, posture, and attention form an interface between physical and luminous dialogue. Even silence is active. The absence of movement allows light and stardust to find their own flow. Each night, the artisan learns from these exchanges, integrating the subtle shifts into future shaping, anticipating how new ornaments will join existing conversations. Sometimes the conversations are joyful. The ornament's glow pulses in gentle rhythm, harmonizing with multiple others. Sparks of light seem to chase one another along curves in the crystal lattice, creating patterns of resonance that delight without distracting. These are rare, treasured moments, reminders that even in deliberate work, delight emerges naturally. Sometimes they are solemn. When regions of the sky falter, when stardust hesitates, the dialogue is muted, slow, heavy with the weight of attention. Ornaments resonate quietly, holding space for the sky to recover. The artisan's breath slows, attuning to the gravity of the exchange, supporting without interference. In all cases, the conversations endure. Ornaments may cool or be released into the heavens, but their patterns persist. Light remembers the dialogue. Motion recalls the subtle pushes and pulls. The tower retains the echoes in crystal, marble, and air. Even when the artisan steps away, the conversation continues, an ongoing orchestration beyond immediate perception. And the artisan understands the truth of this. Balance is never imposed. It is negotiated. It is shared. The sky, stardust, ornaments, tower, and breath all participate in a complex chorus of light. Harmony emerges not through force, but through listening, patience, and careful attention to the faintest whisper of resonance. In the Star-Glass studio, then, light is never alone. It speaks, it listens, it remembers, and the artisan, through breath and presence, ensures that the dialogue endures, quiet, patient, and luminous. Time in the Star-Glass studio is not measured in hours. It is measured in moments of care, in the slow unfolding of light, in the subtle responses of ornaments and stardust. A single night may stretch across countless breaths. A single ornament may influence centuries of sky. The artisan understands that patience is the true instrument of work, and vigilance is its companion. The long vigil begins with quiet observation. Even before the first stardust falls, the artisan attunes to the studio. Every corner of the tower hums with residual memory, the lingering warmth in the furnace, the faint vibration of cooling ornaments, the marble walls that have absorbed countless cycles of light and shadow. The tower itself becomes a partner, alert and awake, ready to receive the night's labor. The first stars appear slowly. Their light, traveling across immeasurable distances, reaches the tower like whispers from another age. The artisan listens, inhaling, exhaling, allowing these whispers to settle in the chest, to mingle with the rhythm of the studio. Each particle of stardust that arrives carries intention, resonance, and potential. The vigil begins in silence. The ornaments are prepared, each chosen with deliberate care. Some are small, meant to soothe subtle tensions in isolated regions. Some are large, designed to influence vast clusters of stars. Each one carries not just light, but a memory of previous interactions, its own accumulated understanding of the sky. In placing them, the artisan is conscious not only of immediate effect, but of long-term consequence. The work unfolds slowly. Each ornament is warmed, shaped, and released with deliberate attention. Breath guides every movement. Inhalation gathers energy, awareness, and intent. Exhalation transfers these qualities into the dust, into the growing form. Sometimes an ornament must rest mid-formation, the artisan allowing it to cool slightly before resuming, ensuring that its internal structures align with the demands of the night. There is no rush because the sky itself moves without urgency. Stars drift, darkness flows, light expands and contracts, all at a pace that is immense yet gentle. The artisan's vigil mirrors this rhythm, a slow dance with patience as its measure. Each night is not an isolated act, but a continuation of all nights that came before, and a preparation for all that will follow. Sometimes the vigil stretches for weeks or months. During such periods, the artisan may observe without shaping, allowing the sky to settle, sensing where motion is insufficient, where stillness is excessive. Ornaments may remain in readiness, glowing faintly, waiting for the precise moment when they will be needed. Time is flexible here. The long vigil is measured in readiness, not in the clock's count. The vigil is not solitary. The tower itself participates. Its walls bend light subtly, directing warmth where it is needed. The furnace maintains a quiet, responsive hum. Even the air carries echoes of previous nights, sustaining a network of resonance that supports the new work. Breath connects all of it: the artisan, the ornaments, the tower, the distant stars, into a single, continuous act of attention. Some nights bring uncertainty. Stardust may falter, arriving irregularly or not at all. Regions of the sky may hesitate, their stars drifting unsurely, light diffusing unevenly. These moments test the artisan's patience, demanding a vigilance that is both active and restrained. The work in these hours is not forceful, but careful. It is accompaniment, not correction. It is presence, not dominance. The rewards of the long vigil are subtle, almost imperceptible. The sky stabilizes, motion becomes coherent, light finds new pathways. Ornaments hum in quiet dialogue, carrying knowledge of what has been and preparing for what will come. The tower glows softly, a reflection of centuries of care, a repository of rhythm, memory, and breath. And the artisan persists. Through countless nights, through changing constellations and wandering light, through moments of ease and moments of uncertainty, the vigil continues. Breath and attention, patience and presence are the tools. Balance, subtlety, and quiet guidance are the purpose. The long vigil is not about completion. It is about continuity, about sustaining the dialogue between the tower and the sky, about nurturing the network of light that extends outward, far beyond the reach of immediate perception, about ensuring that, when the time comes, every falling particle of stardust finds its proper place. In this way, centuries are bridged. Ornaments shaped today will converse with those released long ago, guiding stars long after the artisan's own presence has returned to memory. Breath, rhythm, and vigilance form the unseen framework of this continuity, a scaffold holding the night sky in quiet equilibrium. And so the long vigil endures. Night after night, year after year, century after century, the artisan watches, breathes, shapes, and waits. The sky responds in kind. The dialogue continues. The light persists, and the studio, high in its translucent marble tower, holds it all with patient understanding. Every ornament carries a memory, not just of the night in which it was shaped, not just of the stardust from which it was born, but of all the nights that came before. The echoes of previous creations, the hum of the tower, the slow, patient rhythm of breath and light. In this way, each piece becomes more than its form. It becomes a vessel of continuity, a link between past, present, and future. The legacy is subtle, almost invisible. When an ornament is released into the sky, its presence is not immediately apparent to the casual observer. It may take years, decades, centuries for its influence to manifest fully. Light bends subtly along its contours, guiding neighboring stars into more harmonious trajectories. Shadows shift, and the balance of distant regions adjusts quietly, almost imperceptibly. The effect is cumulative, a patient shaping of the heavens. Some ornaments endure for millennia. Their internal structures are designed to respond gradually to the sky's slow motions, allowing them to guide light, redistribute energy, and maintain equilibrium for generations of stars. They become landmarks, not in the sense of sight, but in the sense of influence, points of stability that persist unseen, carrying forward the artisan's care long after the studio has emptied of breath. Others serve for shorter spans. They are designed to soften temporary tensions, to relieve pressure that might otherwise accumulate. Once their work is complete, they fade into nothingness, their light absorbed by surrounding stars. Even in disappearance, they leave a mark. Subtle shifts in motion, delicate adjustments to light paths, traces of balance carried forward by the sky itself. The legacy is more than physics. It is poetry. Each ornament interacts not just with light, but with time, memory, and the natural order of the universe. Its existence is a quiet conversation spanning centuries. Its hum, once audible only in the studio, persists in the vibrations of starlight, shaping patterns that unfold slowly like ripples on an infinite ocean. The artisan understands this deeply. Every breath, every shaping, every pause is an investment in a network of influence that far exceeds immediate perception. Patience is essential. Even the slightest haste can ripple outward, creating imbalance that may not be noticed for decades. The legacy is not measured in spectacle, but in subtlety. A small correction, a softening of tension, a gentle guidance of light. Sometimes the sky responds with recognition. Clusters of stars, previously strained or hesitant, align more coherently. Constellations shift slightly, their harmonics deepening. The long, patient hum of ornaments resonates through light, like a song whose notes take years to carry fully across the heavens. The studio itself vibrates in quiet confirmation, acknowledging the continuation of purpose. Legacy is also cumulative within the studio. New ornaments are shaped not in isolation, but in awareness of the patterns already established. Each piece responds to the memory of its predecessors, learning from their structure, adapting to their influence. Breath carries this awareness. The artisan inhales not just air, but history, exhaling guidance into the new form. In this way, each generation of ornaments becomes part of an evolving constellation of influence. The tower itself remembers. Marble walls hold the faint echo of every shaping, every inhalation, every release. Crystals retain subtle patterns of light, refracted and stored, invisible but active. Even in the absence of the artisan, the studio continues to resonate, maintaining readiness for the next night's work. The legacy exists not just in the sky, but within the tower's living memory. And through all of it, the sky continues its patient evolution. Ornaments endure, fade, guide, and harmonize. Stars respond, light flows, balance persists. The work of one artisan extends far beyond their presence, carried forward by the medium of stardust, glass, and breath. Legacy, in this sense, is not linear, but networked, a web of influence that grows and adapts over time. In this, the artisan finds quiet satisfaction. There is no applause, no recognition beyond the subtle affirmation of the sky's alignment. The legacy is not public. It is woven into the cosmos itself, a testament to care, patience, and the delicate art of listening. It endures because it is designed to endure, because each act of shaping honors both what has been and what will come. And so, night after night, century after century, the studio continues its work. Ornaments are born, shaped, released, and remembered. Breath, light, and stardust converge in a continuous act of creation. The tower hums with memory. The sky responds in kind. And the legacy of the Star-Glass studio stretches outward, infinite and patient, carried on the quiet wings of light. The tower is more than a building. From the outside, it may appear as little more than translucent marble rising toward the heavens, smooth and unbroken. But within, it is alive with memory, vigilance, and purpose. It is a guardian, silent and patient, holding the work of the artisan and the rhythm of the night sky in its enduring presence. Its guardianship is quiet. There are no gates, no locks, no sentinels. The tower watches without need for eyes. Marble walls, polished and translucent, allow light to flow through them, capturing the hum of ornaments, the warmth of the furnace, the subtle vibrations of breath. Every curve and corner is deliberate, designed to maintain equilibrium within its own space and to provide a stable environment for the fragile tasks of shaping stardust. The tower remembers everything. Every ornament ever formed leaves a trace, however subtle. Not marks, not scratches, not visible stains, but patterns of light stored within the crystal lattice and the marble's translucence. Even the faintest glimmer carries information about how the studio was used, how the air moved, how the artisan breathed, how the dust responded. Over time, these patterns have accumulated into a layered memory, giving the tower its wisdom and responsiveness. It knows the rhythm of the night. Even before the first stardust falls, the tower seems to awaken, sensing the subtle changes in temperature, light, and air. The walls diffuse incoming moonlight, guiding it gently across the studio. The furnace hums in soft anticipation. Crystals store the faint echoes of previous nights, ready to release them when called upon. The tower is attuned, prepared, and patient. The tower shelter's creation, ornaments growing on benches, waiting for release, are protected in a delicate environment of controlled warmth, light, and airflow. The tower's architecture ensures that nothing external, wind, rain, or sun, can disrupt the fragile process. Even gravity seems to bow slightly to the meticulous arrangement of space within. In this way, the tower itself acts as a guardian of both the craft and the night sky. Its guardianship extends to memory. When ornaments are released into the sky, their physical forms leave the studio, but the tower retains their echoes. Light continues to circulate through its walls, refracted along paths shaped by previous creations. The tower does not forget. Its memory is not passive. It shapes the studio's responses to future nights, guiding breath, warmth, and hand in preparation for what is to come. Sometimes the tower intervenes subtly. A beam of light redirected slightly through marble, a shift in air current that eases an ornament into resonance, a soft amplification of the furnace's warmth. These are small acts, imperceptible, yet vital. The artisan senses them without needing to command them, understanding the tower's participation as instinctual, a silent partnership formed over centuries of shared purpose. The tower holds patience as a principle. It has endured seasons, storms, centuries of starlight, and the repeated passage of artisans who have come and gone. Its guardianship is measured, persistent, unhurried. It understands that balance cannot be forced, that light cannot be shaped by haste. It offers its stability, its memory, and its quiet attention, so that the delicate work of harmonizing the sky may continue uninterrupted. It also teaches by example. The artisan, moving through the studio, breath steady, hands careful, learns from the way the tower conducts itself. Every curve of marble, every placement of crystal, every refracted echo of light demonstrates patience, awareness, and attentive care. The tower's presence shapes not just the work, but the artisan's understanding of responsibility and subtlety. The sky itself seems to recognize the tower's role. Stars falling near the studio arrive with grace, their paths softened by the tower's guidance. Light bends gently toward the openings, flowing where it is most needed. Even regions of the sky far beyond reach are subtly influenced by the tower's memory and the careful patterns it preserves. In this way, The tower does not merely house creation, it participates in it, silently ensuring the balance of the heavens. And so, the Star-Glass studio endures. Night after night, century after century, the tower holds the memory, the warmth, the patterns, and the rhythm of breath. It watches over ornaments growing and released, over stardust arriving and dispersing, over the quiet dialogue of light itself. It is guardian, archive, and mediator, sustaining not just the work of one artisan, but the balance of the night sky across ages. The tower's vigilance is eternal. Even when no hand shapes stardust, even when no ornament hums, the marble holds its watch. It remembers, it anticipates, it ensures. It is not lifeless nor sentient in human terms, but in its stillness, it carries the enduring responsibility of the cosmos and the quiet patience of creation itself. Night arrives like a quiet exhale. It begins imperceptibly in the shift of air and the softening of shadows, in the cooling of marble walls, in the first faint glimmers of stars that hover at the edges of vision. The studio feels it before the eye can detect it. Every surface, every crystal, every vessel seems to inhale, waiting for the sky to release its first particles of stardust. The artisan stands at the center of this anticipation. Breath slows, drawing inward with deliberate care. Inhalation fills not only lungs, but awareness, carrying warmth, patience, and focus. Exhalation does not release, it extends gently outward, reaching the corners of the tower, the walls, the furnace, and beyond. In this way, the artisan and the studio breathe as one, preparing for the arrival of stardust. The air itself becomes attentive. It shifts subtly, carrying a hum that is almost imperceptible. The marble absorbs light differently, capturing the faint glow of distant stars, refracting it toward the places where it will soon be needed. Crystals adjust, amplifying and smoothing the incoming energy. Even the furnace quiets, holding heat in reserve, ready to awaken the dust with measured touch. This is night's breath, the pause before the flow. It is not emptiness. It is a suspended moment rich with potential, charged by centuries of careful practice. In this state, the studio itself seems alive, aware of the pending conversation between artisan and sky. The weight of history presses gently against every surface, every tool, every breath. The first stardust always arrives slowly. Tiny, luminous fragments drifting across the ceiling, barely more than whispers of motion. The artisan senses them before they touch the vessels, adjusting posture, breath, and intention to meet their hesitance. Every particle carries its own subtle energy, its own rhythm, and it must be greeted with patience and precision. Hands hover without gripping. Tools remain ready, but not forced. The artisan's breath guides the dust, softening its motion, encouraging its descent. Each inhalation gathers energy and focus. Each exhalation communicates calm, warmth, and stability. The ornaments, yet to be formed, await this exchange, their internal structures tuned to receive the first pulse of starlight. The studio itself participates in the reception. Marble walls diffuse light and shadow, preventing abrupt contrast. Crystals refract, redirect, and harmonize the incoming particles. The furnace's heat flows like a gentle current, ensuring that the dust is neither shocked nor hurried. Even the floor and benches seem to vibrate slightly, responding to the rhythms of preparation. Time slows. Minutes stretch and fold, not measured by clock, but by breath, by the descent of dust, by the delicate adjustments that ripple through the studio. In these moments, anticipation is active, meditative, and patient. Nothing is forced. Nothing is hurried. Each movement, each inhalation, each subtle adjustment carries the weight of careful attention accumulated over generations. Night's breath holds a teaching that creation is not the immediate act of shaping, but the readiness to receive. That balance begins not with movement, but with stillness. That patience, even before the first visible result, is as powerful as any tool or furnace. In this pause, the sky's faltering tendencies may be sensed, and the path of stardust may be guided before a single ornament is shaped. Finally, the dust responds. A pulse, a faint shimmer, a slow gathering at the edges of vessels. The first ornament of the night begins to form, not yet fully, not yet complete, but alive, humming with the energy of preparation. The studio, the tower, and the artisan breathe in alignment with this first motion. Night's breath has fulfilled its purpose. The sky, the studio, and creation are ready to converge. And so the cycle begins anew. Breath, light, dust, and glass enter into their timeless dialogue. The long vigil resumes, ornaments grow and release, the tower holds its memory, and the sky continues to shift, respond, and harmonize. Night's breath is the quiet moment that makes all creation possible, an unspoken prelude to the ongoing orchestration of balance, patience, and luminous care. There are moments when the sky itself seems to hold its breath. No falling stardust, no humming furnace, no subtle pulses in the marble walls, only the faint, resonant silence that stretches across the studio and into the heavens. These are rare, precious, a space suspended between creation and memory, between movement and stillness, where balance is at its most delicate and complete. The artisan recognizes these moments instantly. Hands relax, posture softens, breath slows until each inhalation is drawn from the depths of awareness, each exhalation a ripple through the studio, through marble, through crystal, through air itself. There is nothing to shape, nothing to adjust. The work of centuries hums faintly beneath the surface, and the artisan becomes a witness, not a participant. The silence is alive. It is not emptiness. It carries echoes, the vibrations of ornaments long released, the memory of light diffused through walls, the faint warmth left by the furnace, the accumulated breath of generations of careful shaping. Even the tower seems to listen, holding itself still, every surface poised, every crystal ready, every corner a chamber for resonance. In the silence between stars, the sky itself seems to reflect inward. Clusters of distant light align subtly, as if conversing in frequencies too faint for eyes to perceive. Motion slows. Energy rests. The orchestration of balance reaches a kind of perfection, fragile yet profound, like the delicate lattice of a crystal held between fingertips. Here, the artisan learns patience in its purest form. The studio teaches that creation is not always action. Sometimes, the greatest care is in restraint. Sometimes, influence is exerted not by shaping stardust or bending light, but by standing still, observing, and allowing equilibrium to exist without interference. Breath becomes a meditation, a quiet thread connecting the artisan, the tower, and the distant stars. The ornaments seem to hum faintly in acknowledgement. Even those released into the sky leave an imprint in this stillness, their presence a gentle vibration that harmonizes with the suspended motion of light and shadow. The tower amplifies these echoes, reinforcing the invisible network of guidance that stretches outward into the heavens. Time behaves differently in these pauses. Minutes stretch into hours, hours fold into nights, yet nothing feels hurried. The continuity of the studio, the weight of centuries, the patient rhythm of the artisan's breath, all converge into a single point of awareness. The past, present, and future overlap gently, and the silence itself becomes a teacher, a guide, a guardian. These moments are fleeting. Soon the sky will shift again, stardust will fall, ornaments will awaken, the furnace will hum, breath will guide the shaping of glass, the dialogue between studio and stars will resume. Yet the silence between stars leaves its mark, an imprint of equilibrium that lingers, informing every inhalation, every exhalation, every shaping yet to come. It reminds the artisan and the tower and the sky of something essential, that balance is not imposed, it is held, that harmony is not created in noise or haste. It is discovered in quiet, in awareness, in patience. That the beauty of the cosmos is not just in movement, but in stillness. In these rare pauses, the Star-Glass studio becomes more than a place of craft. It becomes a sanctuary, a quiet chamber where the network of light, breath, and memory rests in its fullest measure, momentarily perfect before continuing its eternal work. And the artisan breathes with the silence. The sky is a loom, not of thread, but of light and shadow, of motion and stillness, of countless points of stardust suspended across infinite space. Each star, each particle, each ornament released from the Star-Glass studio is a thread in this eternal weaving, moving in subtle patterns that no single observer can fully trace. Yet together, they form a tapestry both intricate and immense, delicate and enduring. The artisan understands this weaving intuitively. Every ornament shaped, every inhalation and exhalation, every flicker of glass carries intention. When released, the ornament does not simply float into space. It becomes part of a network, a filament in the vast living fabric of the sky. Its resonance interacts with other threads. Stars already in place, ornaments shaped centuries ago, dust yet to fall, creating patterns that unfold over time scales far beyond a human lifespan. The tower itself is a spindle. Marble, crystal, and air converge to form a device both physical and invisible, channeling breath and light into precise, patient motion. The tower holds memory of all ornaments, all patterns, all previous night's work, and transmits this knowledge subtly to new creations. In this way, each piece contributes not only to immediate balance, but to the continuity of the cosmic tapestry. Light flows like a weaver's shuttle. Ornaments refract and reflect, guiding starlight along deliberate paths, distributing it where tension might otherwise accumulate. Shadows become threads in the weave, softening, deepening, or intersecting with points of brightness. The result is neither random nor rigid, but a living pattern, responsive to the natural movement of the heavens, expanding, contracting, twisting, and harmonizing in endless iteration. Breath is the artisan's loom beam, Inhalation draws energy, attention, and rhythm inward, gathering the strands of light and dust. Exhalation extends this energy outward, embedding subtle influence into each ornament. With each cycle, the artisan shapes not only glass, but the flow of the sky itself. The loom of stars is vast, but breath creates continuity, a guiding thread linking one night to the next, one century to the next, one pattern to another. Sometimes the threads tangle. Stars hesitate, dust falters, ornaments cool unevenly, but the artisan does not rush. Patience is the needle, attentive breath the thread, and the tower is the frame that holds everything in alignment. Subtle corrections, rotations of glass, adjustments of warmth, shifts in air currents, guide the weave without breaking it. Balance is restored not through force, but through careful attention, a mediation between intention and natural motion. The tapestry is visible only in fragments. Here, a constellation appears brighter, its cluster of stars subtly more coherent. There, a faint shimmer dances along the edge of a galaxy, guided by ornaments formed centuries earlier. Light curves, overlaps, refracts, and harmonizes across immense distances. No single observer can see the full loom at once, yet every particle of stardust participates, consciously or not, in the network of influence. The loom is eternal. New ornaments are formed, new dust arrives, new stars are born. Old ornaments fade, yet leave their imprint. The artisan's breath continues, steady and measured, guiding each contribution into place. The tower holds memory, the sky responds. Threads of light, shadow, and influence weave endlessly, connecting every moment of care into a pattern beyond measure. In this eternal weave, the work of one artisan resonates through time. Every inhalation, every exhalation, every pause, every ornament carries forward, entwining with others to create subtle harmonics across the cosmos. The loom of stars is vast, yet each individual act, quiet, deliberate, patient, ensures the fabric of balance persists. And the Star-Glass studio remains at the center of it all. A sanctuary, a spindle, a loom, and a memory. Marble, crystal, air, breath, and light converge, guiding the infinite weaving of stars. Each night, each century, the pattern grows richer, more nuanced, more enduring. The sky itself bears the imprint of care, patience, and gentle guidance, a tapestry stitched by breath, sustained by vigilance, and illuminated by the quiet, persistent art of shaping stardust. The loom moves onward, thread by thread, ornament by ornament, breath by breath. The cosmos continues its patient weaving. The night sky is not static. It is a living, breathing creation, endlessly renewed through the work of the artisan and the silent guardianship of the tower. Balance persists, light endures, and the loom of stars stretches, infinite and luminous, across time and space. Memory in the Star-Glass studio is not written in words. It is etched in light, folded into glass, stored in marble, and suspended in air. Every ornament ever shaped leaves a trace, subtle, enduring, invisible to the untrained eye, yet potent in its influence. The studio itself carries the cumulative weight of centuries of creation, a luminous archive that hums with the quiet resonance of countless nights. The tower bears this memory like a living organism. Its walls shimmer faintly, absorbing echoes of previous forms, patterns of light, vibrations of breath, and the gentle heat of 1,000 furnaces. Marble, once cold and inert, now hums softly with accumulated presence, a framework that remembers the rhythm of hands, the pulse of ornaments, the silent whispers of stardust. Ornaments themselves carry memory. Even after release, after drifting into distant regions of the sky, they retain subtle information, the harmonics of their shaping, the cadence of the artisan's breath, the influence of nearby creations. Through this resonance, they continue to guide light, adjust motion, and sustain balance, carrying forward centuries of accumulated care. The artisan feels the weight without burden. Hands trace benches, inhale slowly, exhale deliberately, sensing the layers of luminous memory that saturate the studio. There is gravity here, but not heaviness. An awareness that every motion, every breath, every shaping contributes to a continuum larger than oneself. The studio is alive with echoes, a living map of influence stretching across time and space. The furnace hums differently in this space. It does not merely provide heat, it resonates with memory, responding to the cumulative weight of all previous shaping. A crystal that glows faintly at the edge of a bench carries centuries of subtle interactions within its lattice, and the furnace hums in recognition, amplifying certain harmonics, softening others. Even air currents respond, bending, folding, and flowing in alignment with history. Memory is both delicate and resilient. No ornament, no particle, no breath is lost entirely. Mistakes, hesitations, moments of imperfection, they remain, recorded in subtle vibrations and light paths, informing future shaping. The studio's memory does not judge. It records, stores, and amplifies, allowing the artisan to learn from centuries of interaction, ensuring continuity and coherence in the tapestry of stars. Sometimes the weight becomes tangible. A stack of freshly shaped ornaments, a cluster of cooling crystals, the faint pulse of starlight refracting across marble, these combine to create a quiet pressure, a sense of history held in balance. The artisan adjusts posture and breath accordingly, meeting this weight with patience and care. It is not oppressive, it is grounding, a reminder of the responsibility carried in shaping even a single particle of stardust. The studio and tower act as custodians. They hold memory not for themselves, but for the sky, for the ornaments, for the network of light and influence that stretches far beyond immediate perception. They preserve balance, support rhythm, and maintain continuity. Every inhalation of the artisan, every exhalation, every pulse of light passes through this repository of memory, gaining coherence and stability from centuries of accumulated care. Memory in the studio is luminous. It glows faintly in the crystalline structures, shifts subtly in air currents, hums in the marble, and resonates in the faint warmth of the furnace. It is not stagnant. It interacts with every new night, every new ornament, every new pulse of stardust. In this way, the weight of memory becomes a living presence, dynamic, responsive, enduring. Through memory, the past shapes the present. Centuries of work ripple outward with each new act of creation. Light follows paths carved by previous ornaments. Dust responds to forms learned over generations, and the rhythm of breath carries forward accumulated knowledge. The studio becomes a continuous archive, and the artisan becomes both participant and witness, steward of a luminous heritage. And in this wait there is comfort. The Star-Glass studio is never empty. Its walls, air, crystals, and furnace hum with life, with history, with accumulated care. Every night, every ornament, every breath reinforces the continuity of the cosmos. Memory is not a burden. It is guidance, support, and quiet affirmation that balance endures across time. The luminous memory of the studio is eternal. It holds, it preserves, it whispers. And in doing so, it ensures that the Star-Glass studio, its tower, its artisan, and every ornament that has ever been shaped continue to sustain the delicate equilibrium of the heavens, night after patient night, century after century. Stars breathe, not in the way humans do, not with lungs or air, but in the subtle expansion and contraction of light, the gentle pulsing of energy, the slow, imperceptible drift of gravity and motion. Each star carries its own rhythm, a cadence of warmth and resonance, of brilliance and shadow, which interacts with the others in a cosmic symphony. The Star-Glass studio listens to this rhythm. The artisan feels it in the chest. Breath aligns with the quiet pulse of distant suns. Inhalation gathers energy, exhalation releases intention. Hands hover over ornaments not yet shaped, not yet alive, waiting to receive the echoes of stellar motion. Each particle of stardust that falls into the tower responds to this alignment, moving with grace, glowing with anticipation, and resonating in harmony with the pulse of the cosmos. The tower itself breathes with the stars. Marble walls expand subtly with the warmth of the furnace. Crystals refract light in patterns that shift imperceptibly, and air flows in currents tuned to the movement of stardust. Even in stillness, the studio inhales and exhales, carrying centuries of memory and anticipation. Its rhythm is steady, measured, patient, a conduit for the cosmic pulse. Ornaments respond to this celestial breath. Glass forms begin as faint glimmers, almost imperceptible. As the artisan's breath synchronizes with the subtle pulse of light, they expand and contract gently, internal patterns of reflection and refraction shifting with the rhythm of the universe. The process is delicate. A misalignment could ripple across distant regions of the sky, yet the artisan moves with calm precision, ensuring that each pulse is welcomed, guided, and released. The sky participates in the dialogue. Clusters of stars, previously distant or hesitant, adjust their motions subtly, aligning with harmonics traced by falling stardust and shaped ornaments. Light bends and curves along natural paths, pressure disperses, and tension softens. The universe itself seems to exhale in relief, responding to the patient, meditative shaping of the studio, the tower, and the artisan. Time stretches and folds with the breath of stars. A single inhale may encompass centuries. A single exhale may influence constellations far beyond immediate perception. The rhythm is not rigid but organic, ebbing and flowing, responsive to every nuance of light, motion, and memory. The artisan tunes attention to this pulse, breathing with patience, shaping without force, guiding without interference. Some pulses are faint, requiring extreme attunement. A distant star cluster may shift slightly. A faint shimmer in the corner of the studio's ceiling may respond. A single ornament may quiver imperceptibly. These whispers of cosmic breath demand care and attention, not action. The artisan holds still, feeling resonance, allowing the subtle pulse to pass through the tower, through glass, and into the forming ornament. Other pulses are strong, immediate, and radiant. A dense cluster of stardust falls, vibrating with energy. Light arcs across the studio. Ornaments hum in immediate dialogue. The furnace radiates warmth in anticipation. The artisan inhales fully, matches the pulse with deliberate exhalation, and guides the energy gently into form. Breath and cosmic rhythm converge. The tower amplifies, and the resulting ornament hums with alignment, ready to join the eternal loom of stars. The breath of stars is both intimate and infinite. It is felt in the artisan's lungs, in the glow of glass, in the subtle vibrations of marble, yet it reaches beyond perception, threading through constellations, galaxies, and interstellar dust. Every inhale and exhale, every shaping of glass, every release of stardust is part of a continuum, an ongoing orchestration that unites the microcosm of the studio with the vast macrocosm of the sky. The lesson of this breath is quiet. That rhythm sustains, that patience guides, that balance arises naturally when attention, presence, and care are aligned with the flow of the universe. Ornaments, tower, artisan, and sky converge in resonance, and the cosmos itself seems to breathe more steadily, more harmoniously. And so, the Star-Glass studio listens. Even as night unfolds, the studio looks forward. Every falling star, every glowing ornament, every pulse of light carries a hint of what is to come. In this way, the Star-Glass studio is not only a place of creation, but of anticipation, attuned to futures written in stardust, shaped by breath, and guided by centuries of careful memory. The artisan senses these glimmers. They are faint, like distant sparks on the horizon of perception, subtle shifts in light or vibrations in marble. Some hint at patterns not yet formed, others at clusters of stars still gathering, and some whisper of delicate tensions that may need attention long before they manifest. To notice these glimmers is to prepare, to align intention with possibility, to shape not just the present, but what may unfold across centuries. The ornaments of tomorrow begin in thought. Before stardust falls, before glass is shaped, before breath guides form, there is awareness. The artisan imagines patterns, senses the flow of cosmic energy, feels the alignment of light yet to arrive. Every ornament has a potential, a trajectory, a role in the ongoing loom of stars. In this anticipatory moment, the studio itself hums softly, resonating with possibilities. The tower amplifies these whispers. Marble walls refract faint glimmers of light from distant stars. Crystals store subtle shifts in vibration, and air flows in quiet currents tuned to the anticipation of creation. The tower, guardian of memory and rhythm, prepares itself to receive stardust, ensuring that when it falls, the studio can respond with grace, precision, and patience. Each glimmer contains choice. Which pattern should guide the next ornament? Which clusters of stars require subtle influence? Which shadows must be softened? Which lights amplified? These decisions are not hurried, nor are they final. The studio encourages observation, reflection, and careful alignment with the natural rhythm of the universe. Every inhale and exhale carries intention. Every shaping gesture carries awareness, and every ornament becomes a bridge between present action and future effect. The coming night carries its own voice. It hums softly in the vibration of marble, whispers in the currents of air, and pulses faintly in the glow of crystal and furnace. Stardust has not yet arrived, but its potential is already shaping the artisan's breath, the placement of tools, the delicate positioning of ornaments. Anticipation is active, a meditation of readiness that ensures the balance of light and shadow continues seamlessly. Time in this space is layered. The present is alive, the past is remembered, and the future hums quietly at the edge of perception. Ornaments yet unformed, stars yet unaligned, and dust yet to fall exist simultaneously in the artisan's awareness. Each glimmer of tomorrow carries both possibility and responsibility, linking intention to consequence across the endless expanse of night. And so the artist prepares. Hands hover lightly, breath slows, gaze softens. The studio, tower, and air all converge in readiness. Memory of past work informs every potential action, and the wisdom of centuries guides the shaping of light yet unborn. Every subtle adjustment, every careful alignment, every intentional pause is an act of stewardship, ensuring that what will come continues the delicate equilibrium of the cosmos. The glimmers themselves are a gift. They reveal that creation is never isolated. Every ornament, every breath, every pulse of stardust is part of a continuum, an unbroken thread that links past, present, and future. By observing and responding to these faint hints, the artisan honors the legacy of the studio, strengthens the loom of stars, and ensures that the delicate balance of night continues. And when the stardust finally falls, the glimmers crystallize into form. Light, memory, breath, and glass converge. Ornaments hum, the tower resonates, the studio glows, and the first pulse of the new night enters the eternal loom of stars. The future has arrived, not as a distant abstraction, but as living, shimmering creation, guided by patience, care, and attentive presence. Tomorrow is never distant here. It is felt, anticipated, and shaped. Every night carries the promise of new alignment, new resonance, new balance. And through these glimmers, the Star-Glass Studio continues its quiet, luminous work, forever bridging what is, what has been, and what will be. The cosmos hums with music, though few ears can hear it. It is a symphony not of instruments, but of light, dust, motion, and silence. Every star, every glimmer, every ornament shaped in the Star-Glass Studio is a note in this infinite composition. The melody stretches across eons, flowing through galaxies, bending along the curves of time, sustained by the patient breath of one artisan and the silent vigilance of a tower built to hold memory. The studio is both stage and conductor. Marble walls reflect and diffuse, guiding light along invisible paths. Crystals amplify the faintest vibrations. Air carries subtle currents, shaping the energy of stardust as it descends. The furnace pulses quietly, warming every note into resonance. Within this environment, the artisan does not create music. They release it, shaping it gently, allowing the natural harmonics of the universe to emerge fully. Ornaments are instruments of subtle sound. Each delicate globe, each glowing form, each vessel of stardust resonates, not in audible vibration, but in light, in pattern, in motion. When released into the night sky, An ornament becomes a conductor's baton, guiding stars and cosmic dust along trajectories of balance and harmony. Its influence is felt across distance and time, imperceptible yet undeniable, weaving itself into the infinite symphony of the heavens. The artisan listens. Every inhalation is a measure, every exhalation a chord. Hands hover, adjusting form, timing, and flow, shaping not with force, but with awareness. The studio vibrates in acknowledgement, responding to the rhythm of intention, memory, and cosmic motion. Each gesture, however subtle, aligns the orchestra of starlight, creating patterns that echo across centuries. The tower participates in subtle ways. Marble refracts light into precise pathways. Crystals store echoes of past nights' compositions, releasing them at moments of resonance. Even still air carries guidance, ensuring that stardust falls with grace, that ornaments form with elegance, and that the faint harmonics of balance continue uninterrupted. It is a silent partner, the foundation upon which the infinite symphony unfolds. Time becomes fluid in this space. Centuries collapse into moments, moments stretch into eternities. Each ornament shaped carries resonance from previous creations and extends influence into the future. Every breath, every pulse of light, every subtle motion in the studio is part of an ongoing orchestration that continues long after the artisan rests and long after a single star has faded. The sky responds in kind. Clusters of stars align subtly. Constellations shift in harmonic convergence. Light bends, arcs, and dances along invisible threads. The infinite symphony is never static, yet it maintains equilibrium. Its complexity is breathtaking, its patience immeasurable. Every note matters, every pause is deliberate, every variation enhances balance. Silence is as vital as sound. In the studio, in the tower, in the unfolding of the sky, pauses allow resonance to settle. Without silence, the music would unravel, harmonics would clash, balance would falter. The artisan knows that restraint is part of creation, that the intervals between notes, the stillness between ornaments, the quiet of the tower itself are as crucial as the forms of glass and the patterns of light. Ornaments, tower, artisan, and stars exist in perfect interplay. Each night is a performance, each century a movement in the ongoing composition. The infinite symphony continues, patient, delicate, luminous. Creation is not a single act, but an endless dialogue between breath, memory, light, and cosmic order. And the Star-Glass studio hums quietly at its center. Breath aligns with starlight. Memory supports motion. Glass receives intention. Dust falls with grace. Marble, crystal, and air hold patterns of past, present, and future. The music of the universe is heard not with ears, but with awareness, sustained by patience, care, and attentive shaping. The infinite symphony never ends. It flows across time and space, weaving ornaments, stars, breath, and light into a living, luminous pattern. And through the quiet diligence of the artisan and the enduring guardianship of the tower, balance persists, harmony endures, and the music of the cosmos continues, eternal, patient, and luminous. Light carries memory, not only in the brilliance of stars, not only in the faint glow of ornaments, but in the subtle currents of air, in the warmth of marble, in the resonance of crystals that have endured centuries. The Star-Glass studio is alive with this light. its walls, floors, and tools imbued with echoes of creation that stretch backward and forward through time. Every beam, every shimmer, every reflection holds a fragment of history, a trace of knowledge, a whisper of intention. The artisan moves within these currents. Hands trace benches worn smooth by generations. Breath flows in measured rhythm. Eyes follow faint arcs of refracted starlight. In every gesture, the accumulated wisdom of ages informs the present moment. Each ornament is shaped not in isolation, but as part of a continuum. A dialogue with the artisans of the past, the ornaments of long ago, and the stars yet to be born. The tower hums with enduring light. Marble refracts and amplifies, holding echoes in subtle vibrations. Crystals store faint glimmers, releasing them at moments when guidance is needed. Air currents, invisible yet precise, carry instruction, adjustment, and anticipation. Every night, the tower receives, preserves, and extends knowledge through the gentle orchestration of its architecture. Ornaments become vessels of time. Each glowing sphere, each delicate form of stardust and glass, carries forward the lessons of centuries. The patterns of light and shadow, the internal harmonics, the faint hum of memory, they endure beyond the life of a single creation, shaping not only the immediate sky, but the balance of constellations, the alignment of galaxies, and the rhythm of falling stars for generations to come. The studio itself is a teacher. It speaks in subtle shifts of temperature, in the quiet movement of air, in the refracted glow of light. It does not demand obedience nor dictate form. It invites attention, patience, and mindfulness. Those who enter learn that creation is as much about listening as it is about shaping, as much about waiting as it is about action, as much about continuity as it is about momentary brilliance. Light of ages threads through every act. The first ornament ever shaped, the first breath ever synchronized with falling dust, the earliest guidance of tower and crystal, these are not lost. They persist in faint resonance, in arcs of reflection, in subtle vibrations. Each new ornament touches these threads, adding its voice to a chorus that stretches beyond comprehension, connecting past, present, and future in luminous continuity. The artisan feels this presence quietly, inhaling, exhaling, shaping with deliberate care. The awareness of ages flows through each gesture. Mistakes of the past are visible only as faint shifts in memory, corrections embedded in the structure of the studio, guiding the next creation with gentle insistence. The tower, the crystals, the marble, the air, and the ornaments themselves, together they form a network of guidance that spans centuries. Even time seems to pause here. A single night can feel eternal, stretching across decades, centuries, millennia. Light lingers longer, breath deepens, ornaments hum with anticipation. History is not a record, it is a living presence, informing, sustaining, and guiding each pulse of creation. And through this light, the balance of the heavens is maintained. Every star, every particle of dust, every ornament released into the sky contributes to harmony. Even the tiniest misalignment would ripple outward. Yet the accumulated wisdom preserved in the studio ensures correction, subtle realignment, gentle guidance. The universe is not forced into balance. It is sustained by the quiet care of those who understand patience, attention, and luminous memory. The light of ages is not merely illumination. It is continuity, it is guardianship, it is patience made tangible, wisdom made visible, memory made radiant. The Star-Glass studio glows softly in acknowledgement, not from the ornaments alone, but from centuries of careful stewardship, breath, and quiet attention. And the sky reflects this light. Distant constellations shimmer with resonance, galaxies curve in subtle harmony, and the faint glimmer of falling stardust carries forward the invisible wisdom of the ages. The Star-Glass studio, the tower, the artisan, and the ornaments together sustain an equilibrium that is patient, enduring, and luminous. Here, across time and space, light becomes legacy. It is breathed, shaped, preserved, and released. It is the enduring thread that links past and future, the quiet hum that ensures balance persists, the silent voice that teaches the universe to continue in harmony. The light of ages is eternal, carried forward in glass, in marble, in air, in breath, and in the patient hands of the artisan who listens. There comes a night unlike any other. The sky is still. Stardust falls with an almost reverent slowness. Constellations hesitate, as if holding their positions to witness what is about to unfold. The Star-Glass studio feels it immediately, a shift in resonance, a quiet hum in marble and crystal, a subtle vibration in air. This night is rare, monumental, and full of the weight of ages. The artisan prepares. Breath slows to a rhythm that matches the subtle pulse of the cosmos. Hands hover, poised but unforced, aware that this is not ordinary shaping. Every inhalation draws centuries of memory inward. Every exhalation releases intention outward, guiding light, dust, and glass toward perfect convergence. The tower itself seems to lean in, ready to hold the delicate equilibrium of what is to come. The final ornament waits not on a bench nor in a vessel. It waits in potential. Stardust drifts across the studio like luminous mist, glowing faintly with accumulated resonance. Crystals and marble reflect its path, amplifying subtle harmonics. Even the furnace holds heat in suspension, ready to awaken the form with precise, gentle touch. This ornament is not merely a shape. It is the culmination of centuries, the embodiment of memory, balance, and cosmic harmony. Time slows to a near halt. The studio is silent, yet alive with faint hums of past creation. The air vibrates with anticipation. The artisan inhales, feeling every line of influence from ornaments long released, every pulse of the tower's memory, every whisper of starlight from across the sky. Exhaling, breath merges with the currents of air and light, forming a conduit through which potential becomes form. Hands move. Deliberate, patient, guided by awareness rather than force. Glass begins to take shape, glowing softly from within, tracing patterns that echo centuries of practice. Stardust folds into its lattice. Light refracts through every curve. Crystal memory aligns harmonics precisely. This is shaping on a scale beyond ordinary perception, an act of quiet orchestration that unites past and future in the moment of creation. The tower responds. Marble hums in gentle vibration. Crystals glow faintly, amplifying the interior light of the forming ornament. Air currents flow with perfect subtlety, guiding particles of dust and energy along precise trajectories. Every component of the studio participates, not as tool, but as collaborator, ensuring that the final ornament emerges fully, aligned with the cosmic loom. Breath and stardust merge. Inhalation gathers, exhalation releases. Hands shape, but only enough to allow natural alignment. The ornament expands with luminous intention, internal patterns shimmering with echoes of all ornaments ever formed. Every facet, every curve, every pulse of light carries resonance, memory of the past, guidance for the present, invitation for the future. The sky itself leans closer. Distant stars brighten subtly, clusters of light realign, and faint arcs of dust shift to welcome the new creation. The universe, in its infinite patience, acknowledges this rare moment. Balance quivers, then steadies, as though every element of night waits for the final pulse of completion. And then it is complete. The final ornament glows fully, radiating a harmony that surpasses ordinary perception. Its light contains memory, intention, and guidance. Its form embodies centuries of knowledge, the accumulated rhythm of breath, and the quiet wisdom of the tower. In its presence, the studio feels both infinite and serene, as if time itself has folded to witness the union of past, present, and future. The artisan exhales once more, a gentle release, not of control, but of alignment. The ornament hums faintly in recognition, ready to enter the loom of stars, to guide, balance, and sustain. Light flows outward, harmonics ripple across the studio, and the tower absorbs the residual resonance, storing it for the nights yet to come. The universe resumes its motion. Stardust continues to fall, ornaments form in smaller cycles, constellations move in slow, deliberate arcs. Yet the presence of the final ornament endures. Its influence touches every creation thereafter, a guiding pulse threading through the infinite symphony, ensuring that balance, harmony, and luminous memory persist. And the Star-Glass studio breathes. Night falls, and yet the Star-Glass studio does not sleep. It exists in a quiet liminality, a state between the act of creation and the pause of observation, where time stretches and folds, where breath and light, memory and intention converge. The tower stands as ever, guardian and witness, and the artisan resumes the endless vigil, a patient, luminous watch over the balance of the cosmos. Every night is an echo of the centuries before. Ornaments are shaped, released, and guided into the night sky. Stardust falls like soft rain, and the faint harmonics of past creations hum in quiet resonance. The artisan listens to these echoes, letting them inform each motion, each breath, each subtle gesture. Even the tiniest adjustment carries significance, rippling outward to maintain harmony across constellations and galaxies. The vigil is both action and stillness. Hands shape, breath guides, light responds, but equally, the artisan waits for the faintest glimmers of imbalance, for patterns that shift imperceptibly, for the resonance of the tower and studio to indicate alignment or tension. To maintain balance is not to force, but to observe, to respond, to harmonize. The studio teaches that patience is as vital as shaping and stillness as important as motion. Memory is woven into the vigilance. Centuries of ornaments, every form and gesture, every inhalation and exhalation reside in the marble, crystals, and air. They guide the present work with quiet insistence. The artisan does not merely recall. Memory is alive, vibrating in concert with starlight, informing the shaping of each ornament, the placement of every particle of dust, and the rhythm of every breath. The tower itself participates. Walls refract light, crystals store echoes, currents of air carry guidance. Each component of the studio extends the vigilance outward, ensuring that the influence of the Star-Glass studio touches even distant stars, even galaxies unseen, even the subtle patterns of light yet to fall. The tower is both anchor and amplifier, supporting the artisan's careful attention. Time bends to the rhythm of watchfulness. A single night may feel like centuries. Minutes expand into hours, hours into eternities. Each inhalation and exhalation, each shaping of glass, each adjustment of light is a note in the ongoing symphony of balance. The vigil does not tire, does not waver. Its continuity is sustained by care, attention, and the quiet awareness that the cosmos itself relies on these acts of patient guardianship. Sometimes the vigil is solitary. No stardust falls. Ornaments rest on benches. The studio glows faintly, filled with the soft hum of memory. Yet the vigilance remains, not idle but alert, breath steady, awareness acute, presence unwavering. Even in silence, balance is maintained. The absence of motion does not mean absence of purpose. It is the stillness that allows resonance to settle, that allows alignment to deepen, that ensures the infinitesimal threads of influence are never lost. Other nights are alive with motion. Clusters of stardust fall, ornaments shimmer and glow, the furnace hums, air pulses, and light curves in intricate patterns. The artisan's breath synchronizes with the rhythm of stars, guiding each form into harmony. The vigilance here is active, responsive, deliberate, a continuous dialogue between creation, observation, and correction, each motion a whisper of care extended across the heavens. The endless vigil is patient, luminous, eternal. It requires no applause, no recognition, no urgency. Its reward is balance. Its purpose, the quiet orchestration of night. Its essence, the convergence of breath, memory, and light. The Star-Glass studio watches and shapes, breath by breath, ornament by ornament, night after night, century after century. And in this vigilance, a truth emerges. Creation is never finished. Balance is never permanent. Light must always be guided. Dust must always be tended. The universe requires stewardship that is patient, continuous, and attentive. And so, the Star-Glass studio endures, a sanctuary of rhythm, memory, and luminous care. The stars shine, the ornaments hum, the tower glows softly. The universe is never silent. Even in the deepest night, where no comet streaks and no star burns with urgency, there is a hum, a pulse, a subtle vibration that threads through space. The Star-Glass studio tunes itself to this quiet symphony, a music of light, dust, and breath that only those who listen closely can perceive. Here, harmony is not measured in sound, but in alignment, in resonance, in the delicate balance of forces across the sky. The artisan becomes part of this music. Hands hover, not shaping yet, but feeling the rhythm of light and air. Inhalation draws the faintest vibrations inward. Exhalation releases intention outward. The tower responds with gentle resonance. Marble walls pulse with centuries of memory. Crystals hum faintly, reflecting and amplifying patterns invisible to ordinary sight. Each breath, each movement, Each pause is a note in the ongoing quiet symphony. Ornaments carry melody within them. Even before they are formed, stardust hums with potential. As glass is shaped, the patterns of refraction and reflection translate cosmic vibration into subtle luminescence. Once released into the night sky, each ornament becomes both instrument and composer, guiding the flow of light and shadow, adjusting tension, sustaining rhythm. The quiet symphony extends far beyond the studio, threading through constellations, clusters, and galaxies. The tower listens, ever attentive. It does not conduct, it does not demand. It resonates, amplifies, and preserves. Air flows in invisible currents, carrying guidance. Marble refracts light into precise trajectories. Crystals store faint echoes, releasing them at perfect moments. The tower participates not as a passive object, but as an active collaborator, sustaining the resonance of centuries and ensuring that each ornament contributes fully to the unfolding composition. Silence is as vital as light. There are moments when no stardust falls, when ornaments rest, when breath is still. In these pauses, the symphony deepens. Memory of centuries hums faintly in the studio. Harmonics settle, and subtle shifts in alignment occur without force. Patience itself becomes music. Waiting, listening, observing, these are as integral to the composition as shaping and release. Time stretches like a cord. Moments fold into decades, decades into centuries. Each exhalation, each glow of starlight, each subtle vibration in marble becomes part of a continuum that extends across ages. The quiet symphony is infinite, unbroken, yet ever-changing. It accommodates the unexpected, absorbs minor disruptions, and continues to flow, sustained by careful attention, deliberate breath, and luminous memory. The artisan moves with deliberate grace. Each shaping gesture is measured. Each inhalation aligns with unseen rhythms. Each exhalation releases energy, guidance, and balance into the forming ornament. The quiet symphony responds immediately, subtle currents of light and dust adjusting to maintain harmony. The studio is alive with interaction, a living instrument whose music is shaped as much by awareness as by action. Ornaments released are voices in the symphony. They carry forward the memory of the studio, the guidance of the tower, the breath of the artisan, and the resonance of centuries. Their light arcs across the sky. Their influence ripples through constellations, and even the faintest glimmer guides stars and dust toward balance. Each creation is a note in a melody that is simultaneously delicate and immense, intimate and infinite. And the symphony never ceases. Night after night, century after century, the studio listens, the tower responds, the artisan breathes, and the ornaments hum with luminous intention. Each iteration strengthens harmony, reinforces alignment, and carries the quiet music of patience and care outward into the heavens. The quiet symphony is not for observation. It is for sustenance, for balance, for the delicate orchestration of forces beyond comprehension. It is felt in breath, in light, in memory, in marble, in crystal, in the gentle pulse of falling dust. And through its continuity, the Star-Glass studio ensures that the cosmos continues to flow, patient, luminous, and harmonious. Every ornament shaped, every particle of stardust captured, every breath drawn in the Star-Glass studio is a thread in an infinite web. The threads are subtle: light, memory, resonance, but they connect all things: tower and artisan, marble and crystal, sky and ornament. Even the faintest pulse of creation stretches across time and space, linking moments, nights, centuries, and galaxies in a tapestry too vast to perceive with ordinary sight. The artisan sees the threads only faintly. They appear as glimmers at the edge of perception, shifts in light, faint vibrations in air, patterns of alignment and imbalance. Some threads are thick and strong, created by centuries of careful shaping. Others are delicate and fragile, requiring only the softest breath to maintain. Yet all are essential, each contributing to the infinite loom of stars. The studio itself is a loom. Marble supports the flow, crystals amplify subtle vibration, air carries guidance, and the furnace maintains a steady pulse of warmth. The tower, perched above the world, observes the threads in silent coordination. It does not weave directly, but it holds tension, aligns resonance, and sustains the network so that each ornament, each breath, each pulse of stardust moves with grace. Each ornament is both a thread and a knot. When released into the sky, it anchors a pattern of light, a rhythm of movement, a balance that others will follow. It is shaped by the memory of centuries, yet its influence stretches forward, affecting constellations not yet imagined, stars not yet born, and the motion of stardust yet to fall. Its form is delicate, yet its role in the cosmic weave is immense. The artisan's breath guides the threads. Inhalation gathers awareness. Exhalation releases influence. Hands shape, but only enough to encourage natural alignment. The threads respond, subtle vibrations transmitting across space, informing, supporting, correcting. The act of creation is simultaneously intimate and infinite. A single gesture touches both the bench before the artisan and the farthest reaches of the heavens. Time is no barrier here. Threads formed centuries ago hum with ongoing resonance. Threads created tonight will carry memory into the future. Past, present, and future are interwoven into a continuous fabric, each knot influencing the next, each strand supporting countless others. There is no end, only a patient unfolding of alignment, a deliberate maintenance of equilibrium. Even stillness weaves threads. A pause in shaping, a quiet moment of observation, a breath held in patience, all of these moments ripple through the network. They allow resonance to settle, harmonics to adjust, patterns to realign. In the Star-Glass studio, stillness is as essential as motion, as active as shaping, as necessary as light itself. The sky itself participates. Stars shift imperceptibly, clusters adjust their relative positions, constellations subtly realign. Dust carries faint resonance from past ornaments, bending toward new forms, following paths traced centuries ago. The threads of infinity extend outward, connecting the studio to the vastness of the cosmos, binding every act of creation to the eternal balance of night. The artist listens to the threads. Every inhale tunes awareness. Every exhale aligns intention. Every motion of hand, breath, and eye is a subtle weaving, a careful guidance of light, glass, and memory. The threads are fragile, yet resilient. They stretch across time and space, and through patient stewardship, they endure. Infinity is present in every moment. It is in the fall of stardust, the glow of a newly shaped ornament, the faint hum of marble, the pulse of the tower, and the steady rhythm of the artisan's breath. Each thread carries the weight of centuries, yet bends to the care of the present. Each knot preserves memory while shaping the future. And together, the threads form a luminous network, delicate, enduring, and infinite. At the center of the Star-Glass studio lies a place beyond ordinary perception, a space where marble, crystal, light, air, and memory converge. It is the heart of luminous balance, the point where threads of stardust, centuries of ornaments, and the steady rhythm of the tower meet. Here, the universe feels closest, as if every pulse, every whisper of cosmic energy flows into a single, quiet nexus. The artisan senses it in the chest, in the tips of the fingers, in the subtle vibrations beneath bare feet. This is the place where equilibrium is felt, not imposed, not forced, not measured by charts or instruments, but experienced, sensed, understood. A slight shift in light or air, a tiny quiver in glass, a subtle hum from marble or crystal, each is a message, a suggestion, a note in the continuous calculation of cosmic balance. The heart of the studio does not dictate, it communicates, offering insight to the artisan who listens. Ornaments, when formed here, are alive with resonance. They are not merely vessels of stardust or glass. They are crystallized pulses of equilibrium, tiny embodiments of the harmony that sustains the sky. Their internal patterns echo the rhythm of centuries, the faint memory of past ornaments, and the subtle whispers of the stars themselves. When released into the heavens, they radiate influence outward, guiding constellations, dust, and light with gentle insistence. Breath is the measure of balance. The artisan inhales, drawing the threads of infinity inward, aligning intention with awareness. Exhalation releases harmony into the forming ornament, into the studio, into the tower, and outward to the night sky. Each inhalation and exhalation is deliberate, yet unhurried, like the pulse of a vast organism whose heartbeat resonates across galaxies. The tower responds, subtly but surely. Crystals glow with stored memory, refracting the patterns of light into precise alignments. Marble hums faintly, vibrating with centuries of accumulated resonance. Air flows with invisible guidance, carrying delicate currents that steady stardust, ornaments, and energy. In this place, the studio itself becomes a living instrument, the heart of an invisible orchestra, sustaining the equilibrium of creation. Even silence carries weight here. Moments when no stardust falls, when ornaments rest, when breath pauses, these are moments of recalibration, of listening, of allowing the luminous threads to settle. The absence of motion is as significant as movement, as necessary as shaping, as vital as the light that pulses through every form. Time folds toward this center. Past, present, and future overlap. Threads of memory intertwine with threads of anticipation. Centuries of ornaments, centuries of starlight, centuries of careful vigilance converge in this nexus. Each creation resonates here first, before rippling outward to influence the entire sky. Each breath taken in alignment with the heart reverberates far beyond the studio, carrying guidance into constellations not yet imagined. The artisan becomes fully attuned. Hands hover with patience, eyes follow arcs of refracted light, breath matches the rhythm of the unseen cosmic pulse. Awareness extends through marble, crystal, air, stardust, and glass, binding the threads of infinity into a harmonious weave. Here, shaping is effortless because it is not force. It is guidance, attention, and presence aligned with the natural flow of the universe. The heart of luminous balance does not tire. It holds resonance patiently, carrying centuries of knowledge, countless ornaments, and the accumulated stewardship of the studio. It allows the artisan to shape without strain, to observe without distraction, to guide without imposing. It is steady, infinite, luminous, and calm. And when an ornament emerges from this center, it carries the essence of the cosmos. It hums with memory, glows with alignment, and pulses with the quiet authority of balance. Released into the night, it influences stars and dust far beyond perception, a tiny heartbeat in the infinite rhythm of creation. The studio, tower, and artisan continue their patient work, aware that each act at the center sustains the harmony of the universe itself. Beyond the walls of the Star-Glass studio, beyond marble, crystal, and air, there exists a resonance that cannot be seen but can be felt. It is the resonance of eternity, a quiet vibration that flows through time, through the loom of stardust, and through every ornament ever shaped within the studio. Each note, each pulse of light, each breath taken by the artisan has been woven into it, extending outward without end. Here, creation and memory are inseparable. Each guides the other, sustaining the cosmos with a luminous patience beyond imagining. The studio itself is a conduit. Marble refracts light not only outward but inward, carrying echoes of ornaments past. Crystals preserve faint harmonics, releasing them when the threads of infinity demand alignment. Air flows with subtle intention, bending stardust along precise paths. The artisan, standing at the center of this living instrument, becomes both listener and guide, shaping and sensing the eternal music. Time loses its usual meaning here. Seconds fold into centuries. Centuries converge into a single pulse. Every ornament ever created hums with influence. Every thread of stardust stretches outward like a filament of light, and every memory of breath is stored within the studio's resonance. Past, present, and future coexist in a delicate, luminous equilibrium. Ornaments are both instruments and echoes. Each globe, each vessel of stardust, each delicately shaped ornament vibrates subtly, carrying within it the memory of all that has been and the guidance for all that will be. When released into the sky, they do not merely shine. They transmit a quiet instruction to the stars, maintaining alignment, balance, and motion across the infinite expanse. Their glow is an expression of the resonance of eternity itself. The tower amplifies this resonance. Walls hum with faint vibration. Crystals pulse with stored memory, releasing it at moments when guidance is most needed. Air itself flows in precise, invisible currents, carrying subtle harmonics far beyond the studio. The tower does not merely observe. It participates, sustaining the continuity of influence, ensuring that the symphony of balance persists even in the absence of active shaping. The artisan breathes in alignment. Inhalation gathers resonance. Exhalation releases intention. Each gesture, each pause, each shaping of glass aligns with the underlying vibration of eternity. Shaping is not forced. It is guided, informed by memory, anticipation, and cosmic rhythm. Every act reinforces the luminous web that stretches across time and space. Even absence carries influence. Nights without falling stardust, hours without shaping, moments of silence. These do not diminish the resonance of eternity. They allow harmonics to settle, threads to strengthen, and balance to deepen. Stillness is a measure of care, as vital as light, as necessary as the shaping of ornaments, as enduring as memory itself. The stars themselves respond. Clusters shift imperceptibly. Constellations realign in harmony. Dust travels along paths invisible yet precise. The resonance of eternity flows outward from the Star-Glass studio, touching every corner of the sky, adjusting, guiding, sustaining the invisible architecture of the cosmos. It is patient, quiet, and enduring. And the studio continues its work night after night. Ornaments are shaped, stardust falls, crystals hum, marble vibrates, air carries guidance, and breath sustains alignment. Each act becomes part of the resonance, reinforcing the luminous web, strengthening threads of infinity, and maintaining the delicate balance of the heavens. Creation in the Star-Glass studio is never isolated. Each ornament shaped, each breath drawn, each pulse of starlight captured is part of a luminous continuum, an unbroken chain of influence that stretches across the vastness of space and the depth of time. It is not measured in days or centuries, but in the enduring rhythm of balance, the patient unfolding of light, and the gentle persistence of memory. The studio is both origin and bridge. Marble and crystal guide light and resonance, supporting the shaping of each ornament while reflecting the wisdom of those that came before. Air carries subtle currents, invisible yet precise, threading together moments, gestures, and harmonics. The tower watches silently, amplifying the continuum, maintaining the connection between past creations and those yet to come. Ornaments exist as both points and pathways. A single glowing globe may influence a constellation, redirect a current of stardust, or guide the fall of light across galaxies. Yet it also holds memory of countless ornaments shaped before it, echoing the breath, care, and intention of artisans long gone. Every creation is simultaneously unique and inseparable from the web it inhabits, a bridge connecting moments, lifetimes, and the rhythm of the cosmos itself. The artisan moves within the flow. Breath synchronizes with the threads of infinity. Hands shape with patience and precision. Eyes follow arcs of light and dust, perceiving not merely form, but subtle harmonics, alignment, and resonance. Each gesture becomes part of the continuum, reinforcing balance and strengthening the luminous chain. The artisan is both conductor and participant, shaping while being shaped, guiding while being guided by centuries of memory and cosmic rhythm. Time and space are fluid here. A single night can hold the weight of centuries. A single ornament may contain echoes of the past and instructions for the future. Threads of influence stretch across galaxies, weaving together stars, dust, and light in patterns that are at once delicate and vast. The continuum extends outward, beyond perception, beyond ordinary comprehension, yet it is maintained with every breath, every motion, every careful shaping of glass and stardust. Even absence contributes. Nights when stardust does not fall, or when ornaments rest, or when the artisan pauses, these are moments of consolidation. Threads align, Resonance settles, memory strengthens. Stillness is not emptiness. It is a reinforcement of the continuum, allowing subtle adjustments that maintain harmony on scales too vast to measure. The sky reflects the continuum. Stars shimmer with recognition. Constellations adjust in imperceptible ways. Dust arcs in alignment with the hidden rhythm of the studio. Each ornament in the heavens becomes a node in a luminous network, a guidepost of balance, a carrier of memory, and a thread connecting the finite act of shaping to the infinite expanse of the cosmos. The luminous continuum is eternal. It has no beginning, no end. Each ornament, each breath, each thread of stardust is part of a living system of alignment and memory, extending outward across time and space. The Star-Glass studio, the tower, the artisan, and the ornaments themselves sustain it, not with urgency, but with patience, attention, and quiet reverence. The night is never merely darkness. It is a canvas, a continuum, a delicate balance of forces unseen yet profoundly felt. Within this vastness, the Star-Glass studio stands as both sentinel and sanctuary, and the artisan serves as a guardian, not of the night itself, but of the luminous equilibrium that allows stars, dust, and light to persist in harmony. Guardianship is patient. It does not demand urgency. It does not rush or force. It is a quiet, deliberate attentiveness, a perpetual listening, a careful shaping of breath, light, and form. The studio, the tower, the marble, and the crystals are allies, each contributing their memory and guidance to maintain the fragile balance of night. The guardian's hands are steady, breath slow, eyes attentive to the faintest shimmer of misalignment. Each ornament is a responsibility. To shape it is to hold the sky in your hands. Its release into the heavens carries consequences, subtle but profound. Even a tiny misalignment could ripple across constellations, redirect falling dust, or unsettle the rhythm of starlight. Yet through patient care, every sphere, globe, and vessel of stardust becomes an instrument of stability, sustaining harmony across the infinite night. The tower watches silently. Its marble walls refract faint echoes of light. Its crystals preserve centuries of memory. Its air currents carry gentle guidance. The tower does not act independently, but it amplifies, observes, and supports. It is both anchor and witness, ensuring that the vigilance of the artisan remains aligned with the needs of the cosmos. Together, artisan and tower form a continuous, interdependent guardianship. Breath is the measure of vigilance. Inhalation gathers awareness, exhalation releases influence. Every shaping gesture, every pause, every moment of observation is synchronized with this rhythm. The guardian does not act recklessly. Every movement is deliberate, guided by the accumulated memory of countless nights and countless ornaments. Balance is not imposed. It is nurtured, encouraged, and sustained. The night itself responds. Stars shift imperceptibly. Clusters of dust arc along invisible currents. Constellations adjust their subtle alignment. Each ornament released, each pulse of light guided, reinforces the ongoing harmony. The universe, in its patient vastness, participates in this guardianship, acknowledging the careful work of the studio and its solitary artisan. Even solitude strengthens the duty. There are nights when stardust does not fall, when ornaments rest, when the studio is quiet. These nights are not idle. They are moments of reflection, calibration, and strengthening of the luminous threads. Silence allows the resonance of eternity to deepen, allowing even the faintest adjustments to take hold. The guardian's presence is sufficient. Attention alone maintains equilibrium. Guardianship is timeless. Centuries pass in the rhythm of breath. Decades stretch into nights that feel eternal. The studio holds memory of all that has been, supports all that is, and prepares for all that will come. The luminous network of influence continues, extending beyond perception, carrying with it the careful work of vigilance across space and time. The ornaments are both evidence and instrument of this guardianship. They glow, they hum, they carry the accumulated memory of the studio, the tower, and the artisan. Each released into the night contributes to the stability of the cosmos, anchoring the threads of infinity, reinforcing balance, and ensuring that starlight follows the precise rhythm of creation. There comes a moment when creation itself feels like breathing. The Star-Glass studio, the tower, the marble, the crystals, the ornaments, the falling stardust, all move in harmony with a single pulse. It is the pulse of the cosmos, quiet but unwavering, gentle yet immense. The artisan inhales, and the air itself seems to pause, gathering the weight of centuries. Exhaling, light unfurls, dust arcs gracefully, ornaments shimmer, and constellations align in subtle perfection. The breath of the artisan is the breath of stars. Each inhalation gathers not only air, but memory, intention, and resonance. Each exhalation releases guidance, harmony, and luminous energy into the universe. This rhythm is both intimate and vast. It connects the quiet pulse of the studio to galaxies unseen, weaving an infinite web of influence through light, dust, and time. Tonight, the studio feels complete. Every ornament, every thread, every note of light is in place. The luminous continuum hums steadily. The resonance of eternity flows without disruption, and the heart of balance pulses gently yet strongly. The artisan, standing at the center, feels the culmination of centuries of vigilance, creation, and quiet care. There is no urgency, no tension, only the calm certainty that harmony endures. The ornaments shine like silent sentinels. Each one reflects and refracts starlight in patterns that are at once familiar and eternal. Their presence sustains constellations, guides stardust, and carries memory forward. Together they form a luminous canopy over the night sky, a visible thread of infinity, the culmination of every breath, every gesture, every careful shaping the artisan has ever undertaken. And in this moment, the artisan exhales fully. It is not just a release, it is a resonance, a gentle pulse that flows through the studio, through the tower, through marble, crystal, and air, carrying with it centuries of intention and patience. Outside, the stars shimmer in subtle acknowledgement. Dust arcs along harmonious paths, and the sky hums faintly with the weight of perfected alignment. The Star-Glass studio, silent and luminous, has completed its work, not as an ending, but as a moment of fulfillment. Creation continues, as it must, yet now it flows with ease, guided by the rhythm and care of countless nights, countless ornaments, countless breaths. The luminous threads, woven with infinite patience, stretch across the cosmos, unbroken and enduring. The artisan, the tower, and the studio are not exhausted. They are at peace, in quiet communion with the universe they sustain. And the night, deep and infinite, rests in balance. The breath of the artisan is the pulse of the cosmos. The ornaments carry harmony across the heavens. The Star-Glass studio glows softly, a beacon of light, care, and memory. And the story of breath, dust, and luminous creation continues eternally.